I'm 100% for the New World Order.
That's right.
And Donald Trump is my daddy. Tupac was like a gay poet that he like took on the thug thing. There's all these videos coming out of him before he became a thug. Thing with Joe Biden is like they put that guy in office and let him decline in dementia in front of us. Kundalini is the basis of all yoga, and it's where the masculine and feminine chase each other around your spine in a double helix and like come to the crown of your head. Okay, look, like the left is chopping the nards off of your children without letting you know. Sure, the Bible says homosexuality is bad. It also says pork is an abomination. And then as I was skateboarding by that coffee shop with my dog, there was somebody playing inside, and I came up to the window and looked inside and was like, this is pretty cool. And that's how I met Josh Garrels. But it's also like this crazy journey where you like meet your ancestors and like face death, and Antichrist is going to be so cool. He's going to bring everybody together. There's going to be like peace everywhere. He's going to say all the right things. So I think that Donald Trump, like MAGA, basically is the highest role in the satanic church. Like covering myself with a blanket so nobody could see me. And looking back, I'm like, that's a really interesting. I was calling myself Super Ben.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's an interesting human experience.
Welcome back for another amazing episode of the Why Can't We Talk About That podcast. Before getting to the discussion, I just want to remind you to like and share this episode with everyone that you know. Word of mouth is the only way that others will know that this podcast exists. Also, it would really make my day if you sent me an email and told me what you thought of this episode, what you think of this show, or even recommend a new band for me to check out. You can do this by sending a message to Why Can't We Talk About That at proton.me. Thanks. My guest this week is Ben Calvert, an urban mystic who is fluent in the language of music and exonerates the divine source in his purpose to harmonize life into holy union with it. The way that I was connected with Ben was also by divine appointment. My friend Mike was employed with a certain company for a very short time, and during that time he just happened to meet Ben. After talking with him over a couple of weeks, Mike realized that Ben was a very unique person who was lots of fun to talk to, and therefore would be a perfect guest for this podcast. And since Mike is such a great friend, he told Ben about the show and asked him if he would like to be a guest. Obviously, Ben said yes, and what you are about to listen to is the great conversation that came out of it. Not only does Ben have some really interesting perspectives on life, but he also brought over many interesting musical instruments, and he demonstrated them for me. So make sure that you listen through to the very end of this episode so that you can hear him play some songs. And if you ever hear that he is playing in your area, I highly recommend going to see him. I had a really good time hanging out with Ben, and I hope that you will too. Enjoy the conversation. And I think at least they have been anyway, as long as we're kind of like right here, they work. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. So, yeah, I usually just start with 3 questions that I kind of ask to kind of get a feel for where you're at. And then you can flesh them out later. I'll give you time to flesh them out. But for right now, I just kind of want a quick answer is, the first one is, if you had to pick just one genre of music that would be your favorite, what would it be?
It would be field recordings and of basically like shamanic chant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Shema, like Hero Israel, God is one, like that? Is that where that comes from? Like shamanic? I never heard that before.
Shamanic is like a term for a medicine person who transfers.
Oh, like a shame, gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
I was hearing something totally different. Okay, so shamanic, like what they would call a witch doctor. I know that's probably not a PC term, but
right.
Okay, interesting. Well, I will tell you this: you're the first person to ever answer that question with that answer. So, politically, do you lean more left or right? Is the next one.
That's a really tough question.
You're kind of middle of the road, maybe on.
Kind of middle because I'm like right on a lot of things, and then I'm left on some
Interesting.
things too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And the last one, in one word, describe your spiritual beliefs.
Everything is created, and there is a divine intelligence behind everything.
Behind everything that's created. Okay.
And want to be known, and there is a lot of truth in the Bible, and there's also a lot of truth in indigenous, like nature-based.
Okay.
And there's kind of like an interesting duality that I grapple with between the identity of God as like Jesus, and then how it's affected indigenous thought and expression through colonization.
Okay. Wow, man. You got me. See, now I'm excited. This is going to be fun. And this is why Mike wanted you, they thought you'd be good for the show.
Yeah.
He's like, oh man, I've been talking to this guy and he's got some really cool things to say and some really interesting beliefs. And okay. So kind of, since I don't know you at all, like really, literally just meeting you right now for the first time, just kind of give me a brief kind of description of your life. I mean, where'd you come from? What are you doing now? Kind of a deal.
My name is Benjamin Calvert. I was born in Slough in 1987. My dad had been there since the 60s, 1960. Came from kind of like a lower class white family in San Luis Obispo. Good bit of dysfunction, which kind of fueled being out a lot, which was good, you know, like getting my sovereignty, just kind of like we were the last of the kids who rode around in like big bike mobs.
Oh, nice.
Past sunset.
Yeah.
You know, because no cell
by dinner
phones,
kind
no
of deal.
computers or anything, you know.
Nice.
And was raised with Christianity, was always like very into mysticism. And
like you were personally, or your parents? So your parents raised you Christian, but you were interested in mysticism.
They raised me Christian, but it was a dysfunctional household. So as kind of like, well, you're telling me this is this, but I don't see it working for you type of deal. You know?
Gotcha.
But when I was 14, I had a huge dose of mushrooms that hit me while I was laying down on the back of a horse. And
the dose hit you, like you took it on your own, right? Okay.
I took it with some buddies.
Gotcha.
And that kind of, the mushrooms introduced me to something outside of language. And I didn't really know how to describe it, but it was really interesting to have like read about God and spiritual experiences my whole life. And being a child, those just kind of like, you're kind of effused with the spiritual experience because the imagination is so strong and everything's still fresh.
Right.
But having those mushrooms when I was 14 kind of opened up like a whole other world, or like portal for me, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. You see it as a reality, not so much as a hallucination. You see it as opening a part of your brain maybe that lets you access something that is real and true.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, for example, when I was maybe 18 or 19, I took some mushrooms and I was gallery sitting in the art gallery at Cuesta. And I was sitting out on this bench in the sun, like enjoying the sky. And I looked down at the ground, and the ground looked like it was kind of like moving. And I was like, with the earth metabolizing itself, what if it's always moving like this? And I'm only seeing it how it is at this moment. And at that moment, all the sprinklers in the lawn shot up, and they shot like one jet of water into the air. And there were rainbows everywhere, and then just as fast they shot up, they sucked back into the ground.
Oh, crazy.
And that whole thing lasted like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
At the moment, I was like,
wow.
But, yeah, so I've been into, I don't know if altered states is the right term for it, but like plant medicines have really affected me in a great way. But at the same extent, kind of like living too loose of a lifestyle has been kind of destructive for me, which like had me come back to the church and feel like the presence of Christ. And it's interesting to I feel a really solid foundation there. But a lot of what I grapple with right now, like for example, I play music, and like half my songs that I like to play are like worship songs, and the other half are like medicine songs. And medicine songs is the term for like this music that's played in ceremony in order to like guide people to like a harmonization of their soul, which I feel is kind of expressed in Christianity through like the monk chants, because the monk chants are so healing.
Yeah, but you said you kind of struggle with it. Is that because you feel like maybe they don't mesh as well as, or is it more like other people don't think they mesh, so you feel like they're going to view you a certain way?
Yeah, like if I'm at church and I'm like, oh, I like mushrooms, or like people, or even if I'm into like some other modalities, a lot of people would think that it's like witchcraft or something.
Right.
Like you even said witch doctor earlier.
Yeah. But, and that tends to be kind of where people go. I had another friend of mine on here that we actually did 5 episodes together, where he kind of tells a story of how he went from Christianity to kind of where he's at now. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about aliens, we're talking about, out-of-body experiences and near-death experience, all these different things. And his point, I kind of agree with him, was that it seems like within the church, people tend, when you hear stuff like that, your automatic response is, well, demonic. Right. Well, it's got to be demonic. It's either mentioned in the Bible or it's demonic, right? It's like those are the only 2 options. It's like, well, maybe not, right? So
maybe not, and maybe so too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
right, it could be either, right? But when people jump to that conclusion so quickly, and they're just like, "Oh, definitely demonic," it's like, you haven't even researched this. What are you talking about? Right. So that's kind of where I agree. I don't agree with his stance on a lot of things, but that was one of the things. Like, yeah, I can kind of see that.
And I kind of see this like one of the biggest like pities about the human race right now is that we're so far disconnected from nature. It's like we're walking around on this planet like an astronaut on the moon. It's like we're wearing clothes that don't match the environment. We're not in tune with our environments, and it's a shame. And then you go to like see like, why is it like that? And it's hard for me to like have to admit, because I see the truth in Jesus, but colonization is one of the reasons it's like that. But colonization hasn't only been by Christianity. It's like, I think communism or like atheism would be even a stronger force of destruction on the planet, as you can see by like the death tolls and But because all spiritual traditions were based in matriculation into nature. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking to weave a bridge between nature traditions and like connection to God through Jesus.
Yeah, which I haven't really got into it with you talking about what you're talking about specifically, but when it comes to, obviously God created all of nature, right? It serves a purpose. There's a reason he did that. There's, it's all beautiful in his creation, right?
Right.
So, obviously we can't completely divorce the two and say, oh no, there's God and then there's nature. Right. Well, no, he made nature. Right?
Nature is an expression of God.
Right. And you can see more of God, in my opinion, when you're out in nature than you can if you're in a big city with buildings that man made and those kinds of things, for sure. It's out in nature, and that's why people do that. They do go on retreats out there I'll go out and sleep out under the stars for a week and find God or whatever, So, okay. So, like, what do you, other than music, so tell me a little bit about the music. How long have you been doing the music, like actually writing songs? And because you write your own songs, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I got a guitar when I was like 14.
Okay.
And then when I was about 19, I traded my guitar for a bass guitar. And it was right after I had seen Les Claypool for my first time.
Dude.
And it kind
that
of
guy.
He played his bass into my brain and like molded my brain. So I started playing the bass like him.
Okay.
And when I was 19 is when I started to actually like write my own songs.
Okay, so since you're a fan of Les Claypool, I'll tell you real quick.
Yeah.
So remember I told you me and my coworker were listening to some of your stuff that you had posted.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there was a thing where you were standing and you were doing that kind of slap bass on a thing, and she said, it reminds me of Les Claypool.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So then that'll be a compliment to you since you're a fan. So.
Oh, yeah. Huge fan. He really influenced me.
Yeah.
It was my first psychedelic concert experience.
Okay.
And had a big spoonful of mushroom honey at the Catalyst and watched the fancy band play.
Okay.
And then after that, I was like, Les Claypool was in my dreams, and I picked up the bass, and he just started playing similar to how he plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see Primus then, or did you just see...
It was the Fancy Band.
Is that another band he's in? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, he was touring for the Of Whales and Woe album.
Okay.
So he was playing a lot of Frog Brigade stuff.
Okay.
It was...
Frog Brigade I've heard of.
Yeah, it was Scarrick.
Okay.
And Gabby Lala and Mike Dillon and
Okay.
Aldo Balducci on drums.
Okay. Nice. And do you like release music? Do you record and release? Okay.
Yeah, I've made so much music, but I had not organized it enough to release it. And had been smoking weed since I was 14 years old, and I quit. And that like gave me the executive reasoning or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
To be able to organize my music and release it. So I got a DistroKid account and I released like 5 albums and a couple singles.
Oh, wow.
And now it's out there.
Okay.
So my next step is to, promoting is like one thing. My next big step is just to play out more.
To play more like live shows and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you do that now, or do you just want to do it more, or?
The playing I've done the most is play for a rave. They do these full moon spin jams. And
Okay.
I love to busk, like go out in public and slap my bass with my panpipes and my harmonica holder.
Okay. That's so awesome. That's awesome because it's unique.
Yeah.
Like you don't see that all the time, you know?
Right.
Okay.
At the rave, I'm like using effects and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I just really want to dial in being able to like bring it and put on like a really good show. Instead of I'm pretty jammy, you know?
Okay.
So I need to bring in all these different elements. I have songs that I've written, and then I can go out and loop things, and then do this, that, and the other thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're more like a one-man band kind of guy?
Kind of like I love playing with other people, but I've just I don't have the personality to be able to organize other people very well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're not a leader.
Well, I guess
so
you
much.
could put it like that.
Okay.
Because like when I have my inspiration, I want to hit it.
Yeah.
It's like really funny. Like I was playing with the drummer for a while, and he drank a lot.
Yeah.
And like I started shopping for drum machines like while I was jammed with him, but he was drinking so much, and like this YouTube video came up, and it was like, does your drummer drink too much? And I was like, check out this drum machine. So I started working with drum machines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because drum machines don't drink.
Exactly.
At least they're not supposed to. I don't know.
Exactly.
With AI, you never know what's coming around the corner.
Exactly.
So
They're going to need something to relieve the stress.
Okay. That's funny, man. So other than music, do you work anywhere currently? Are you still at, where was it you met Mike? Was it
Dude,
UPS?
was such
a
joke. It's one of the most like brutal corporate hierarchical deceptive environments.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because you start working there, you start working like 4 a.m. in the morning, 6 days a week. And like the second day they had me on 3 trucks, and one of the trucks was like this insane truck. And it was like, well, it was kind of the second week, not the second day, the second week.
Okay.
And it was like beyond what like barely any superhuman could do.
It's just like loading boxes into the truck, right?
Yeah, well, other people had like 1 truck or like even, like half a truck. I was doing like 3 in one of the gnarliest ones. It's like something's wrong here, and like nobody would listen to me, and like eventually I got off that, and Mike was the new guy, and they put Mike on there.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, here, I'll cover one of these trucks for you, and I'm all trying to cover for him.
Yeah.
And one of the guys who worked there was like, so if you're new, you're called a blue vest. He was like, that 90% of you guys are going to be let go at the end of the season. Right?
That's a nice thing to say.
And they hired us as permanent. So everybody who was hired thought that they were permanent, and they were like getting into this career.
Okay.
And I went ahead and talked to some of the management about it, and the like head manager of the company like had a meeting and brought us in and read some inspirational quote from a book from the founder of UPS about how like a company has to have honesty or they don't have integrity, and there's no reason for the employees. And he was like, what do you guys think about that? And I was like, well, I was told you fire 90% of the blue vests. And he was like, who told you that? And I was like, a couple people.
You should have been like, that guy right there.
Yeah. Anyways, eventually they let me go.
Okay.
And
after Mike or before Mike?
Buds. Before Mike.
Oh, you left first.
I left first.
Oh, shoot.
The thing with Mike was like, man, I could see how they let me go because like I was causing ripples. I was trying to talk to the management about how they're deceiving everybody.
Yeah.
But Mike is an ex-fireman and like a grandpa and like the most like legit like like amazing. Like, And they let him go too.
Right.
So it's just like, oh
yeah. Yeah. So what are you doing now then? Or is that...
Anyways, I'm gardening and music teaching.
Okay. Wait, gardening?
Yeah.
And those are two separate things.
Yeah.
You're not teaching gardening music.
Right.
You're gardening and music teaching.
Yes.
So like when you do like landscaping, do you work for somebody or?
I work for myself, but one of my clients owns like 7 properties, so I take care of all those.
Okay.
And then I like have a couple other.
So it's just kind of constant. You just keep going to the same properties and just maintaining the yard and stuff. Okay.
Yeah. I'm also a caregiver.
Okay.
And I'm trying to transition from using my body so much doing gardening to like using my brain doing music lessons.
Yeah, that's less hard on you. Yeah. Gardening's hard, man.
Yeah. Coming up on 40 and I'm like 6'2" and I'm like crouched down pulling weeds.
Yeah, it's bad, man. Yeah. How old are you? 30?
39.
39. Okay. Yeah. And your music teaching, what do you specifically do? You teach like guitar or
a drum student, but I can teach like almost all strings and flutes and percussion.
Okay, so like what drove you to, you told me you got a guitar when you were 14?
Mm-hmm.
So what drove you to start picking up all those kind of unique instruments? Just like creating music and you're like, I need this sound, I need a flute, so I better learn how to play a flute.
And music had always really impressed me.
Mm-hmm.
So like getting into it was just natural. And then when I had that bass guitar when I was like 19 or 20, I ate acid while playing my bass and had this like Kundalini experience and like
Kundalini? What's that? I never heard that.
Kundalini is the basis of all yoga, and it's where the masculine and feminine chase each other around your spine in a double helix and like come to the crown of your head and like blow you up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how it felt.
All right.
And then when I was 27, I went traveling in Peru with my son's mom, and we drank ayahuasca. And I was in this, you just sit in a room in the dark, and you drink the most psychedelic soup on the planet, which blows your mind open.
What's in it? Is there like mushrooms and stuff in it, or what's?
No, it's DMT.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a DMT soup, so you're like in that world for a couple hours.
Okay.
And it's guided by the shaman, so we had this indigenous shaman, and we're just in the dark. He was playing his guitar, singing, and playing his flute and his drum. And I'm like, dude, this is the apex of human occupation. I was like, wow. I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah. So you have children? You just mentioned your son.
Yeah, I have an 11-year-old.
Okay. You just have one?
Yeah.
11-year-old son. Okay. Mm-hmm. Are you married or no?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
You're just single?
Yeah.
Okay. What's that like? You like that, or do you wish you weren't?
Something in my life is like I've had like 3 long-term relationships, and after like 3 years, they just get like so lame. Yeah. And it's probably my fault, but maybe I don't know what to blame it on, but something in me like really hates.
Yeah.
Like getting stuck in a relationship for too long. Like right now, I'm spend some time with a lady who's very not possessive, and I really enjoy it. Or it's difficult because I see that like most of the damage in my life has been from getting into relationships that could have been better. So I just need to be careful. Yeah.
Okay. And with your 11-year-old son, is he close by? You can see him often, or is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he lives in Shell Beach.
Oh, okay, right there.
Yeah.
And do you live in Slow?
I live in Slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good, man. Because a lot of times I hear that kind of a story, and it's like, oh, and my ex lives in Montana with my kid, and
that sounds horrible.
I see him like twice a year or something. You know?
Oh, that sounds so horrible.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. Yeah. There's no way. But I've been married for forever, it feels like. I mean, nice. I met my now wife when I was 18, and she was 15, and so we got 4 kids, and they're all, that's our family right there.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, so our oldest is 27, and she just had her first child with her husband, so we have a 5-month-old grandbaby now. And then our youngest is the little guy on the left there. Yeah. That's an old picture. He's 15 now, and he's like 6'5". Wow. Yeah, he's a beast. So, but yeah, we got 2 boys, 2 girls. They all still live here except for the oldest. And my oldest son, who's 24, he's also a musician.
Nice.
He kind of self-released a few albums that were like, the first one was kind of acoustic driven. The second one was full on like hip hoppy kind of stuff. And then his third one was kind of like EDM kind of, so he kind of goes everywhere. And now he's kind of given up because he's like, he goes, I said, why are you giving up? Cause I don't, he gets all upset about the responses that he gets and stuff. I said, well, make it cause you like it.
Right.
If other people like it, great, but, and every musician friend I know says the same thing. They said, you can't create based on the reaction of others, right?
I don't, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because if you do that, you'll go crazy. Because you could have 80% people saying it's great, and 20% say, oh, that's the worst crap. You need to give that up. You suck. And for some reason, that's what you take to heart,
Right. And I don't have any faith in the general populace, so it doesn't really apply to me very much.
Right. Especially now, right?
Yeah,
you look at the music that's popular now, you're like, really?
Yeah.
This is number one on Billboard? This is terrible.
Right, exactly. It's all social engineering mechanism.
Yeah. Well, and then I feel like an old guy. Like, I feel like my dad never liked my music when I was younger. Now I feel like that old guy's like, oh, the music of today sucks. You kids got terrible music.
Right.
So,
well, at least,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Let's segue with that and go right into some music then. So kind of tell me, obviously you are musical yourself. You create music, but what are some of the early memories you have of bands or artists that you really enjoyed listening to that maybe even pushed you in the direction of wanting to do music yourself?
Well, originally it kind of started out, just being a young kid, getting to know the stereo, like getting to know the cool radio stations. And
right.
I was just like right on the end of cassette tapes. Like my first cassette tape was Americana by The Offspring.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And my parents bringing me to church, there were a couple bands like the Newsboys, and DC Talk,
and
classics. And eventually like POD.
Oh, yeah.
And
good
stuff.
stuff.
Listened to them, and then it was all like the kind of subgroup that I fell into in middle school was kind of like the dysfunctional metalheads. So I started to get really into metal, and it was very, very eclectic about the music that I liked, and there's a lot of music that I didn't like, and I was like really into Primus and Rage Against the Machine and Iron Maiden and some death metal like Nile and Cryptopsy and Cephalic Carnage, and I didn't really like black metal that much. I loved death metal. Yeah. And
how did that go into like your Christian stuff? Like you go from things like the Newsboys and DC Talk to POD and then to stuff like that. It's more the kind of stuff that if you showed that to a lot of your church family, they'd be like, ugh, what is that satanic garbage you're playing, Right.
Well, it was very, very interesting because I was raised in the church and I believed it, but I was like this human mind that was brought into this household with this heavy dysfunction. And like in the 90s and the early 2000s, it's like dysfunction was like the theme of pop culture. Yeah. Like the Osbournes and Papa Roach and Limp Bizkit and Eminem and Korn. That's what they were like feeding the youth. Right. So it really like
were you into those groups at all or no?
Yeah.
Wasn't your thing? Okay.
Yeah, I liked a lot of those groups.
Okay.
And it was an interesting time to be alive because like the whole pop culture was telling us about dysfunction, and then I was in a place where things were dysfunctional too.
So you related to it?
So yeah, I related to it. And then I was getting in trouble in middle school. I was getting involved in substance abuse, mainly being weed and alcohol. Right. So my dad was a really heavy alcoholic. So I started, following my nature and nurture and getting into that stuff by the time I was like 14. Okay. And
was that the dysfunction you're talking about? You think it stemmed from your dad's alcoholism with your mom?
Yeah, that was a big part of where the dysfunction came from.
And would you say of your parents, was your mom more the outer Christian one to where your dad just kind of went along for the ride kind of a deal?
Maybe, like, he might have really believed it, but...
wasn't really living it as much.
Right.
Okay,
and, Oh, yeah, and I remember... so when I was getting in trouble for this kind of stuff, he was like, you can either do diversion or you can go to youth group, and he had me go into youth group. So I was learning a lot of stuff about the Bible in one year and then kind of struggling with stuff at home in the other year. But when I learned about like Revelations and a lot of that stuff in the Bible that kind of went along with like Slayer and stuff like that, there was kind of like a common ground there.
Yeah, a lot of those metal bands, they have a lot of biblical lyrics.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like even if they don't believe in the Bible, they use some of the parts of the Bible just because it sounds cool.
Yeah.
Especially in Revelation, you know?
And like, if you listen to ancient Sumerian music, they're like double picking these scales with like the minor seconds and sixths.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they were pretty metal back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the way they played their stringed instruments was metal.
Which is so funny because there's so many churches that would say no strings. You know, they make it sound like guitars are of the devil or drums are of the devil. Right. Yet you look at, you know, the Bible, you got David writing the Psalms by singing songs on a harp.
Right.
Like all this kind of, I mean, strings are all throughout Scripture, right? Yet these people are like, oh no, strings are of the devil. What?
But what's interesting is like, there actually are no drums mentioned in worship in the Bible.
Right.
And my brother actually, him and his wife are very religious, and they believe that drums are bad.
Oh, really?
Because drums are like what they use in like voodoo and like a lot of that trance building music, because it gets you in your body and gets you moving and takes you away from like, so trippy.
Yeah, I don't know though. I mean, anything can be used in the wrong way.
Oh yeah, you could use it.
That doesn't mean the thing itself is wrong.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know if I buy all that. That's kind of...
No, I don't buy it because...
Yeah.
Josh Garrels is one of my old...
Oh, nice.
He's like my favorite. And he makes really great drum tracks. And it feels so holy.
That guy's got some diverse... I mean, when I first started listening to him, I was like, dude, he's got a song where he's rapping.
Oh, yeah.
Then he's got these like real folksy kind of, like bluesy kind of sound stuff. And yeah, he's amazing. I'm
so glad he exists.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a hard time finding Christian music that I really like.
Right.
I'm kind of turned off by the super commercial stuff, like the poppy stuff.
Especially now. It's terrible now.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And you can really tell how twisted the culture is, because Josh Garrels being like the most amazing Christian musician, do not hear him on Christian.
Nobody knows who he is.
There's a couple Christian radio stations and they don't play Josh. Just like, all right, you guys are just like CCM affiliates or whatever. Like,
which now, like, I can't even listen. When I first started listening to Christian radio was probably early 2000s probably. And it was good. Like even the contemporary stuff that was on the radio was unique. It all sounded different. Now I can't even listen to the radio anymore. It's all the same garbage. It all sounds exactly the same.
It does.
It's terrible.
And it's all the songs are either by Bethel, Hillsong, or Elevation.
Right. Or somebody trying to sound just like them.
Exactly. Brandon Lake gets paid like $1 million per concert. Brandon Lake does.
Oh, Brandon Lake.
Oh, what a great Christian.
Yeah. Charge all your fans, $400 to see you live.
Yep.
Yeah, that's bad.
But the 90s worship's really cool. Like the Vineyard stuff, there's a lot of really, really great songs.
Yeah.
And some of the songs that are popular now, like the chord structures and the melodies and stuff, like I like to play them.
Yeah.
But like, for example, one of my favorite albums is Christafari's covers of those songs.
Oh, okay. Fruits. What's that album called? Something Fruits.
I don't know.
It's all like worship stuff.
Right.
Yeah. I have that album. I forgot what it's called. I haven't listened to it in so long.
First Fruits or something?
First Fruits.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Okay.
And they're so rootsy.
Yeah.
It's like when I listen to this other stuff, it's like I can smell like the hairspray and like you can like the fog machines and the lights, and it feels all glitzed out, and it just bugs me because I was never really part of that culture.
Right. Yeah. So Christafari, huh?
Christafari is great. I love those guys.
Okay. Yeah, most people haven't heard of them either.
Yeah.
That's like the one Christian reggae band that exists.
I guess they play in Huntington Beach sometimes.
Yeah. They played somewhere near here
Sweet.
at some point, and I don't remember where now. I mean, it wasn't like Santa Maria, but it was like somewhere within driving distance, maybe Paso, something like that.
Go to see
a couple years ago, yeah. And I had asked a friend of mine who's the only other friend I know who even likes reggae, and I was asking him, "Hey, have you heard? Do you know this? You know?" Because he was a believer too, and I was like, "Do you know this Christian band, Christafari?" And he never responded to me, so I never went. No. I didn't want to go by myself, so I didn't go. But I thought it would be kind of cool, you know, because that First Fruits album is one of the first Christian CDs I ever got. I got it at a thrift store, and I think I had saw on some like Christian music video DVD I had gotten from somewhere was the video for Valley of Decision by Christafari, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool song. And then I saw that CD, that First Fruits. I was like, hey, it was like $1 at a thrift store. I was like, yeah, I'll check that out, you know. And I grabbed that, and I was like, okay, this sounds way different than Valley of Decision. That song's on there because that was later, but it was still pretty cool. Yeah, good stuff, man. So are you one of the people who kind of like, do you, even now as you listen to music, do you mix and match like secular, Christian? Do you have a preference at all, or do you just listen to stuff you like and it doesn't matter what it falls under? I have tried to be pretty discerning with my music in the past, and especially like there's been times when I've like really walked solid with God, and then music has been the thing that's led me to like like smoke again, or like like music led you down that.
Yeah, you put on some of your old favorite tunes, you know.
Yeah.
So I try to be like really discerning, but I'm at a point now where it's like I really don't listen to much like secular music as I would have listened to. Like mostly my playlist lately has been shamanic music, like ayahuasca music and some Bwiti music.
What was the last word? Weedy?
Bwiti.
Bwiti,
yeah. It's Gabonese journeying music.
Okay.
To be played while under the influence of the iboga plant.
Okay.
And the iboga plant's near the Congo, and it's the only compound known to release people from addiction. So they have these clinics in like Canada and Mexico where people take this dose, and it wipes their endocrine system clean, and they get a fresh chance.
Oh wow!
But it's also like this crazy journey where you like meet your ancestors and like face death, and
oh wow.
Yeah.
But it's been proven to be effective for people. Let's say you're addicted to alcohol or heroin or something. You go and you go on this journey with this plant, and you go on quite a trip. But then once you come off of that, then you have it's easier for you to get off of the drug.
Yeah, it's clinically proven to like physiologically wipe the endocrine system clean. So people who go in, like, if they're taking a good bit of heroin or alcohol, they actually have a risk of overdosing if they try to do the same dose when they come out, because their system has been reset.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So their tolerance disappears.
And are there any are there ever any times people do this and it doesn't turn out that way? Like do people die? Can you die during
You can totally die.
Okay.
And in Africa where they take it, they don't die as often, but sometimes they do. One reason they don't die as often is their hearts are bigger, and white people's hearts are a little bit smaller, so they die a little bit more. But the medicine men say, like, if you die from this plant, it's because like you were in that realm and you made a choice to go with death.
Oh wow.
So they say, like, if you die, that was,
Yeah. So this music that you like listening to, but a minute ago you just said there's certain music that you used to listen to would bring you back into smoking and doing shrooms. So do you see like smoking weed and doing shrooms as a bad thing at this point in your life? Or a negative thing, something you're trying to avoid?
I've come to a point where I don't like shrooms, and especially this last year, like all these studies by Johns Hopkins University, it's neurogenesis, paraplegics being able to walk again, increasing cell life by like 75%. Like, it's shown that these like unlock so much in the human mind, and they bring you to a state of infinity, which I believe is absolutely invaluable. And I kind of trip out if like maybe shrooms, or specifically ayahuasca, which the spirit of that plant is, they say, is an anaconda in the Amazon, is something like the tree of knowledge of good and evil, because, you know, it's like, oh, it looks good and it makes us as the gods, you know, it gives us this wisdom. And, you know, like, that's kind of serves that purpose, but it makes me also wonder if, like, humans are supposed to become acquainted with that as, like, part of our path.
Right.
Because it seems like, you know, maybe we're not supposed to know these things in those things in this realm, but you did give us a way to know them, and it does give us a lot of understanding. But with some of the deeper psychedelics like ayahuasca, it can also lead to a world of illusion. Like, I just watched this YouTube video about Peter Glory and his wife, who was an ayahuasca shaman in Peru, and then became disillusioned with kind of the world that he was in and needed Jesus to get him out of it. And he dealt with all these attacks and curses from that realm because they rejected the power from that realm. They had so much power in the medicine realm, but when they started to pull away from it, they got cursed.
Oh, wow.
So it's like... so I think that there's like a common ground. Like, they have a lot of mushrooms and old Christian motifs and artwork. So I think that there's common ground there. Like, I don't know if it's blasphemous to say that mushrooms could have even been part of communion or something like that.
Yeah. But you feel like God, obviously, I think we'd agree, God created them. They're part of creation. They're there.
Yeah.
But he also created, you know, things that make heroin and cocaine and a lot of other drugs too. But you think that maybe we should be, there's certain things we should be, I'm trying to say, so God created these mushrooms that have these effects and do these things, and that maybe there's a right way that we should be doing it, but then there's also a wrong way.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, for example, like in the Bible, it says, like, don't dabble in sorcery, but sorcery is connecting with extra spiritual with entities, you know? Right. And I haven't really connected with entities really much in my trips. It's more like an understanding, and it's a sensitization towards like the vibration of existence and kind of like a harmonic tuning of some sort.
Yeah.
But so I don't really work with entities personally, and like, sure, I do think it can open up a door into dark worlds, absolutely. But is that like your only concern? Is kind of a concern of like a satanic opening to a demonic force? Do you think there's anything like with messing with the mind or anything like as you talk about these times? Oh, my mind was so opened up. Do you see that as solely being something that God wants us doing, or do you see that as maybe that could be bad too? I think that it could. I don't think it's for everybody, and I think that everybody should experience like shrooms once, but I don't know if I'm right in having that sentiment.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an honest answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But like I've had other people on here before that have kind of been talking about hallucinogenics and things that kind of open your mind up. And I always pose the question, and I'll pose the same one to you since you have an 11-year-old son. If your son came to you and said, "Hey, Dad, I kind of want to try mushrooms so I can expand my mind," like what would you be like? No, absolutely not. Would you be like, wait till you're 18? Would you have any kind of restrictions on that?
I mean, I have to be kind of conscious about the things I say in relation to like underage people.
Well, sure. Of course. But this honestly, is hypothetical.
I think that if it's from the earth, you know, specific, like shrooms have been proven to be less toxic for the mind than aspirin. And they're from the earth, and they've been working with the human mind for thousands of years. And so I think that, like, you know, as a kid, especially in this culture, is going to be, the weed now is not even clean. He's going to be presented with, you know what's popular in rap, Xanax and Percocet. Like that.
Right,
so it's like, dude, if you eating shrooms and like spending the day with your friends, like at the beach or skateboarding or like, I think it's one of the best things that. But
that's something like, obviously you can't drive while you're on shrooms, right? I mean,
no,
Okay. So I've never done that, by the way. So I don't really know what that feels like or what experience. Right. But I assume that there's unless you're just sitting in a living room and there's nothing around you that you can really damage something or
Sitting
yourself.
In the living
you're
room
probably
is
fine.
one of the worst things that you could do.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, like being inside, it was just like soul decay.
Okay, so you want to be outside in nature.
You want to be outside in nature, yeah.
But my point is, like, you also don't want to be necessarily in a place where you can hurt yourself or hurt others.
Right. But that would be a dosage thing.
Okay.
Because if you're, what they call microdosing or like starting small, it's almost like you get super cognizant, like a performance enhancing. In contrast to like melting your brain so that you're puddled out thinking you're a kitten or something.
Right, that's what I mean. That's kind of the far side of it, yeah.
That's the far side. And it's the same as like if you go to the bar and have a drink, okay, cool. You go to the bar and have 10 drinks, you're going to have some problems.
Yeah. I had a person on the show one time, a girl, and she told me that while we were doing the episode, she was microdosing. Or she had been microdosing. I thought, oh, okay, well. And I thought, well, hopefully the episode's still good, I mean, she didn't seem like she was like way out of it or anything, but.
Right, yeah. It can actually give you a little boost.
Yeah, okay.
But I want to throw out there, like, I just did 9 months, like, completely sober.
Off everything?
Off everything, like, no psychedelics.
Okay.
No cannabis. I had a couple beers here and there, but that's not really a thing for me. So.
You've never really had an alcohol problem, so.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And the amount of growth from not having a little outlet, because you feel like you get a lot of growth when you have the psychedelics or whatever.
Yeah.
Was more, it built more structure for me during that time than it did like eating my little plant medicines here and there. So I do have to say that I think being sober is almost like one of the best psychedelics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially maybe when you're creating, right, music and that kind of thing.
It really helps with the executive side of things,
okay.
too, organizing and, like not only did you make the track, but now you're mastering it,
right?
Collecting it, all
that stuff. Because a lot of time, I know there's a lot of musicians, even famous musicians, would say that they write better when they're under the influence of something, or and a lot of times when they go sober, like you can tell, like, oh, this first album was great, and what happened on the second album, man? Oh, I got sober,
right?
And it's like, oh, and your writing went down the toilet, and your second album's terrible, and nobody wants to buy it because it's so bad.
Exactly.
And the next time he's like, well, I guess I better do drugs for the third album then, and then he ends up overdosing and dying, and it's like, oh, well, I guess that's the last one.
Yeah.
But it sure was great, or whatever.
Yep.
So you mentioned about weed and how it's it's obviously different now than it used to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting because I remember when I was in high school. I mean, I'm 47, so I mean I graduated in '96. So back in the '90s when I was in high school, it was you didn't hear the things they're saying now. Like there's all these studies coming out showing that schizophrenia is directly linked to smoking weed and things like that. And I was like, I mean, when I was younger, people talk about like, oh, it's way better than alcohol, it's better than this because there's no problems, there's no real side effects to it other than maybe being lazy, right? That was the worst side effect you could have from smoking weed,
right? And
now it's like, dude, schizophrenia, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, because you're pulling that plant into your brain, and like it's also getting dusted with fungicides,
right?
And
yeah, since it became like legalized, and now you have all these dispensaries everywhere where you can buy it and you can get it, it's almost like now there's more issues with this mass production of it, so
look at McDonald's. Like it used to be like a burger and fries, it's just like a thing, and now it's just like plastic pollutant,
right,
trash, and
it doesn't even taste good anymore,
it's like just kill you slowly, and that's what Big Brother does when he takes over.
Oh man. All right, so let's kind of get back into some of the music then with I want to hear more about some of the influences of like some of the bands that you liked, like when you're in high school or whatever. Did you go to high school in San Luis?
Yeah.
By the way, okay.
Yeah.
And you graduated what, like
05.
05. Okay. Yeah. So what were some of you mentioned like Limp Bizkit, Rage Against the Machine, that kind of stuff, but
yeah, I loved Rage Against the Machine and Primus were like two.
Oh, Primus, that's right. Okay.
It's really into this metal band called Nevermore.
Okay.
And Iron Maiden and Nuclear Rabbit.
Okay. That's a cool
really
name.
Weird and funky one.
Okay.
And, you know, the 90s and early 2000s, that was right before or during when the internet came. So it's an interesting time because, like, you only really consume what they allow you to have.
Right.
You know? So a lot of the music was still pretty grassroots, but the big stuff were social engineering mechanisms by, you know, Big Brother's occultic, cabalic, stringed fingertips.
So what would be an example of that? Do you have artists that you would say fall under that?
Everything in the top 5 for like most of the 90s and 2000s, and like everything in the top 50 or to 100 right now.
Wow.
It's like, yeah, you know, the best grassroots stuff is not going to make it anywhere near the top.
Yeah.
And it's all about social engineering right now. They're only going to give you what they want you to have. And, you know, it's like why hip-hop is so bad. It's like, this is the worst music I've ever heard.
Yeah. Just now, though? Like, did you used to like hip-hop back in the day?
Yeah, I liked hip-hop back
Right
then.
now, it's bad.
Right now, it's
yeah.
bad.
I don't know what happened.
But even back then, like, Tupac was like a gay poet that he like took on the thug thing. There's all these videos coming out of him before he became a thug.
Yeah.
And he's really like feminine and like poetic, and he's like into theater and he's acting. And,
So you think he was gay?
Yeah, I think he was gay. I think he was absolutely Illuminati because he was bailed out by Suge Knight for like several $1 million and given this record deal. And on the front of the record, All Eyes on Me has one eye covered, which is Illuminati.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was the last album, Machiavelli.
Machiavelli, yeah.
Called.
Yeah.
The original rear album cover shows Dr. Dre bent over getting it in the butt by like a pig man.
Really?
Yeah, and there's all this stuff coming out about how like those guys were, in order to get the big record deals, you needed to like do backroom things.
Yeah.
There's so much coming out about this right now.
Well, I was going to say, because even that, the cover they went with was controversial. I remember when it came out.
Yeah.
But nothing as bad as what you say. Yeah, it shows like Tupac on the cross getting crucified.
And on the back, yeah, it showed Dr. Dre. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And those guys were absolutely just like social engineering tools.
Yeah.
Because hip-hop was conscious, and it was mobilizing, and it was giving sovereignty and power to inner city and like trodden down peoples. And basically it was the thing that was going to mobilize people, like black people, poor people, to like coordinate them into a power.
Right.
So
yeah, things like Public Enemy and Boogie Down Productions, that's the kind of stuff that comes to mind when you say that. It's kind of that more empowering, like conscious rap where they were actually rapping about things that mattered and like intelligence, you know, other than, you know, this is how many women I slept with while I'm smoking blunts and getting drunk and killing people in the streets and all that. It's like, that's not going to really help anybody.
And part of that, like why they try to give us so much really bad stuff is like, you know, I don't know all the details towards anything, but I've heard that they follow these laws, and the laws are that, like, when you give into sin, you've basically made, like, a covenant or allowed yourself to become, like, trashed in the spiritual realm. So it's like by influencing people to give in to the drugs, the sex, and the violence, it gives up their sovereign humanity. So like whether it's like God versus the devil or what, it turns us into kind of like cattle. And it's part of there's a particular country that's in the Middle East that has a very long history, and their script teaches that they're going to take over the whole world, but the way that they destroy other countries so that they can take over is by feeding them like demoralizing material so that they become unsanctified in the eyes of God. And
well, it's working.
And they forfeit their inheritance to God's blessing, giving the right for them to be subdued.
Right.
Yeah. So that's part of my concept behind that.
Yeah. I mean, and definitely you talk about the demoralization of America has been happening for how many years now? I mean,
Yep.
I mean, the stuff, I mean, I grew up on, a lot of the gangster rap and that kind of stuff. And, it wasn't wholesome by any means, but a lot of the stuff now is like, I mean, it's, and not only is it worse, some of the explicit stuff, but even the stuff that's allowed on mainstream and allowed on TV and the radio is that you couldn't play that stuff when I was a kid.
No way.
You had to go in a warehouse and you had to have your mom come with you or an older cousin come with you that could prove they were 18 to get you the parental advisory. That's the only way you would ever hear that stuff.
Right.
Now you just turn on the TV or you turn on the radio and it's all this sexually explicit lyrics and profanity and everything else. So yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Josh Garrels. We got to talk more about because it's exciting to find somebody else that's heard of him. There was a thing called Noise Trade. Are you familiar with Noise Trade?
Sounds so familiar.
So it was like I don't even know if it's still around, but it was basically like a web-based company that would they have featured artists where artists would release an album on there for free. And the point was not to make money, obviously, because it's free. The point was to get their music out to people that had never heard it. And I was a part of this website or this email address thing or mailing list where they would send out emails. Hey, check out this song by so-and-so and this whole new album is brand new. It's free. And one time there was just Josh Garrels. I'd never heard of him. And he came out. It was the oh my gosh, the Sea in Between, but it was it was the live one, live from Maynard Island or whatever that was, right?
So rad.
Yeah, and it was that, and I was like, okay. I mean, and there's an option to donate, give a little money if you want, but it was totally free. You didn't have to give money. There was no obligation. You could download the MP3s for free. And I was like, okay, I think I gave $1 or something. I was like, oh, I'll give him $1. We'll see if he's any good,
Yeah.
And then listening to that, and I was like, whoa. This guy's a trip, you know?
He's amazing.
But that was all I had heard. And then a friend of mine sent me, what was it, a children's song or children?
Oh, yeah.
The one where he raps. And he sent me is that children's? No. It's not children's. That's a different song.
Yeah.
What's the one where he raps?
He raps in a lot of them.
Oh, it's a good one. It's an early one.
Off his early work?
Yeah.
EP?
Oh, I know if I heard it. But oh shoot, I'll think of it. Or I'll look it up and let you know exactly what song I'm talking about. But I was floored. I was like, whoa, this guy. I mean, first of all, the guy's like, what is he, like 6'8" or something? This guy's ginormous.
Yeah.
And this was like a live version that my friend had sent me the video of him performing this, and I was like, this guy raps too.
So awesome.
Yes, and I was just boggled, and you just see his heart too. I mean, the guy is so like not phony.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like this guy puts it all out there, man. And he's not ashamed to say, yeah, I love Jesus. Yeah, I follow Jesus. Whatever. It's like, I don't have to worry about, if they're going to sign me to a major or not. I don't care, right. And that's the vibe I got from him from the get-go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now I think I have everything he's ever done. I mean, I got all his albums after that. I went on, and bought all of them. Got the actual Sea in Between, which was the studio version of that. I wish I could remember the name of that song. But anyway, so I mean, how did you get kind of turned on to him?
Yeah, really, pretty interesting. There's a coffee shop in SLO called Sally Lou's.
Okay.
And
he didn't play there, did he?
A couple times.
Oh shoot! And when was this?
2011.
Oh, see, that was before I'd heard of him.
2009.
Okay. Dang it! And
that is literally how I discovered Josh Garrels. As I was skateboarding by that coffee shop with my dog, and there was somebody playing inside, and I came up to the window and looked inside and was like, "This is pretty cool." And that's how I met Josh Garrels.
Wow! Did you actually go in and talk to him?
Yeah, I went in and talked to him, and I didn't even know who he was yet, and he immediately became one of my favorite musicians at that time.
Yeah.
Lost Animals was his last album, so it was before Seas in Between.
Yeah.
I saw him 2 more times. Another time at Sally Lou's and another time at this barn in SLO. And
dude, that's so cool. I would love to see him live.
Yeah.
Man, if you ever hear him playing anywhere near, please Text me, let me know.
I keep checking his tour dates, and he has not come near slow in a while.
Yeah, it seems like it's been a while. Dude, I cannot.
Definitely had a big shift after Love, War, and The Sea in Between.
That's where it got more folksy, right?
He got a little more folksy, but you can feel him totally relax. And I listened to this podcast where he was like, yeah, like I took a couple year break, and it was a lot for me to come out with the material that I did, because every song he's made has been golden for like 20 years straight. Like, you know, like almost like 10 albums worth of material or something. And now his music is like, you can just feel like there's not as much drive.
Right.
It's more like, I'm here. You can hear like maybe he had a weekend with the boys.
Yeah.
Put together a song in the barn. You know?
Do you think the music has suffered because of that?
I don't like it as much as I like everything leading up to Love, War, and The Sea in Between.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite work was what he just released, his early work, Volume 1 and 2.
Which just had older, like re-recorded versions of old songs, right? Okay.
And I had those old songs because I ran into him in like 2009 or 10. He had those EPs on his website, and I ordered them in the mail, and they were called Stone Tree.
Yeah, I have that one.
And 7 Stars. Oh, you have that one?
I don't have 7 Stars. I have Stone Tree, Under Quiet.
Yeah, Under Quiet.
Over Oceans. Yeah,
Over Oceans is one of the best albums that ever happened.
Jacaranda. I'm trying to figure out what.
Over Oceans is such a good album.
Is Creation Song rap?
Creation Song is not.
Dude.
Creation Song and Children's Song are two of my favorite songs.
Freedom,
maybe. Yeah, Freedom might be it.
It's bugging me because I can't think of the name of the song.
He's got a lot of rap songs.
Yeah, I think it might be Freedom. I don't know. I have to re-listen. I'm bad at remembering song titles. But the Home album that came out after The Sea in Between, that had some good songs. It was different, but it had to, whatever that's, I forgot. Again, I'm terrible with song titles, but what's the one where he's like, wee, that one, whatever. I forgot the name of the song. That's a great song. I love that one.
Yeah, that music is really great. Like, he's never come out with anything lame. It's just not as like engaging.
Yeah.
It's more like, oh, this is nice, you know.
And you're probably right. It's probably more like, oh, I'm married now. I got a family. I'm just gonna kind of,
his kids are growing up.
Yeah, you know, I want to live life. You know, it's not all about music.
Yeah, he's taking a Sabbath.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was looking at maybe even becoming a preacher and like starting a church, in contrast to just
really
producing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I heard on this podcast that he did.
Okay,
yeah.
That's cool. It kind of reminds me of. Do you remember Chris Rice?
No, it sounds familiar.
He's a Christian singer. Like, his early stuff was very poetic. Like, really, like he's the one that did "Deep Enough to Dream." It was one of his big hits. Or he had "Smell the Color 9." Like, stuff like that, where it's like, really, wait a minute, what? And he's like, "Nine's not a color, and even if it was, you can't smell a color," you know, kind of thing. But he had really cool stuff like that. And then he got married, and then the music was okay after that. I mean, it wasn't like you listen to it, go, "Oh, this sucks, turn that off, it's terrible."
Right.
But it also wasn't as cool. Like, it didn't seem as like intelligent.
Right.
Like, it was more.
You become comfortable.
Right. Right.
You know, it's not like long, lonely nights, like boarded up, processing your angst. Like,
right.
Now it's like, oh, I woke up and my wife made me breakfast.
Yeah. It's like, you mentioned Korn before. I remember, whatever the album was after Jonathan Davis, is that his name? Once he finally got, I guess he got therapy or something after they had made, and then he had an album come out. Yeah. And it was all happy.
Oh, really?
Or happier. Like, people are used to Korn, like, just miserable. This guy sounds like he wants to kill himself in every song. And then they had this album come out that was all like kind of more happy, and I was like, what?
Creepy.
What's this garbage? We're like, we're glad you got help, dude, but like, your music has really suffered because of it, you know? Or Stained, same thing. Like some of the early Stained stuff, where Aaron Lewis was like, I mean, some of the early Stained stuff is just so fantastic too, like lyrically and just like touching. You know, you mentioned like some of that music that you relate to because you're dealing with dysfunctional stuff at home and that kind of stuff. I remember. It's funny because I didn't really come from a dysfunctional home. My parents are still married today. We, I had a good upbringing and stuff. But it was like I almost wanted that when I was younger. I wanted to be like my friends who were like, oh, and their parents are divorced and his dad's a drug addict and this kind of stuff. And I almost like started to make myself believe that about myself. Like, and then when I would listen to songs by Stain, I was like, oh yeah, I can relate. It's like, you can't relate, dude. What are you talking about? Your parents love you, man. What are you talking about? Yeah. So it's just kind of funny, but how you can still relate to that kind of thing, even though you don't relate.
Right.
Yeah, just funny.
And there's this concept in both like energy healing and Christianity that trauma, the wound in our energy or in our spirit, is what opens us up to influenced by like dark entities. So kind of like stirring that up in people with like the trauma and stuff could be another part of the motif we were talking about, where
it could be
it's like an influencing thing where it's like open up their trauma and then they'll be more easily controlled and this and that. Right.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you right now, just because I'm kind of curious, just based on some of the things you're saying, are you kind of do you kind of go down a conspiracy theory kind of?
Absolutely, but like, okay, you know, like we call it truth theory.
Right. And that's the thing. I know I made this joke, and I don't mean any disrespect by it, but I've made this joke before because I've had plenty of conspiracy theorists. I consider Mike a conspiracy theorist. He's been on the show. We talk about the moon landing all the time, things like that. But conspiracy theorists will always say to me, you know, conspiracy theory is only a conspiracy theory until it's proven true.
Right. And
I say, well, duh. Obviously, if it's proven true, it's no longer a conspiracy theory, right? I agree with you on that. So, you know, but of course, usually the people that say that, what they're trying to say is, but I said it was true before everyone knew it was true. So they kind of want kudos, right? They want you to say, oh, dude, right on, man. You got it. You were wrong about the other 40 conspiracy theories you have, but yeah, you were right about COVID. All right, you were right about this one or that one or whatever. And I'll be the first one to stand up and say, hey, you were right. Good stuff, you know, but I'm more the kind of person who I'm kind of evidence-based in a sense, a lot of times maybe to my detriment, probably. But I'm very, like, I need proof. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, especially with a lot of conspiracy theories, why they become conspiracy theories is because we're not given the information. It's out there somewhere. Somebody knows something, right? And the government's hiding this, and the people are hiding this, or whatever it is. But then a lot of people that kind of fall more on the conspiracy side, they kind of piece together this story and this whole thing based on really what they don't know, based on what they think they might know, or that, oh, the government's hiding this. Well, if they're hiding it, how do you know what that is? Oh, it's probably this. It's like, yeah, but how do you know that? Well, I don't know that,
well,
but
with the
maybe it
internet
is.
Now there's just like a billion leaks of information all over.
Yeah,
the place.
But then you got to wonder if that's even true, right?
Right.
I can't even watch the news anymore, dude.
You got to wonder what if the news is telling you is true.
I know. I'm the same. That's what I'm saying. I can't even watch. I don't care if it's right-leaning, left-leaning. I don't care what the news source is. I'm skeptical. Right. Always skeptical because it's, you know, especially with everything going on in the world, people tell me, oh, well, I believe this because this. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I saw a news source that says the opposite of what you just said. Oh, well, your news source is wrong. How do you know yours is right? Right. And if they're honest, it's because it's saying what they want it to say. Right. You know, oh, it lines up with what I think. Well, that doesn't make it right. You know what I mean? I could say the same thing about mine. Totally. It doesn't make it true. Yeah. So it's just, and it's really sad because I wish that we could know. That's really what it's all about to me. You know, we need the information so we can even make an intelligent decision on anything. I don't care if it's, you know, the things going on in the government or any of this stuff, you know, Israel, Palestine, you know, Iran, all this stuff happening in the news. It's like, well, I'm taking this side. I'm taking that side. Okay. How do you know, though? Well, I saw the video on the TV. Yeah, but did you see the whole video? Because I've seen way too many times where we've been shown something and then the whole country goes in one direction and then months later the whole video comes out and you're like, oh, yeah, that's why the end of that video looked that way when we just saw the end of it before, right? So I don't know. Anyway, that was a rant. That was my first rant. That's pretty good, man. We're more than an hour in. I've only had one rant so far. So to kind of finish up, we're going to get into politics next, which is going to be fun. We'll finish up the music with... I like to get your... first, before I'm going to get your 5 like all-time favorite, if you can even do it. That's a hard one. But before that, I like to ask, like, what's either an artist or a band that you just literally can't stand? Like you hear it and you're like, shut that guy up. That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's funny you should ask because I forgot what the band was called, but there's this song that makes me want to vomit every time I hear it, and I like hate it. And I didn't know what it was called. And I was at my buddy's house the other day, and I was like, look that song up. I think it's called like Jack and Diane or something.
Oh, John Cougar?
Maybe. And there are all these Reddit threads about how it's the worst song ever. And
oh, really?
Really.
The little ditty about Jack and Diane.
And it's like sucking on a chili dog.
Yeah.
It's like the worst lyric. Like, I hate that song so much because it's like offering this like corroded like loss of spirit and I just find that so blatantly like stale and disgusting.
Isn't that a love story?
It's a love story about how they used to have a spark, but now everything's droll.
Oh, I see.
And I don't like that.
Okay.
And I just, the whole vibe of it, like I hate everything about it. It's like,
what about his other? Do you like him at all? Like any of his other songs?
I don't even know who he is.
Oh,
like,
it's John Cougar Mellencamp, dude. He's got a lot of songs. I bet you know that you didn't know it was him.
Probably.
Yeah, he's been around a long time.
Yeah.
What was that? Some Houses. I forgot the name of the song. But yeah, you'd look. That's funny. Jack and Diane, worst song of all time.
Jack and Diane.
All right, cool. So what about like a 5 favorite all-time artist bands? Like, could you even do that? Is that too difficult?
Yeah. Just for the sake of it, like the actual like secular, not secular, but like I'll say Josh Garrels first.
Okay.
And then I'll put Claypool second because he's influenced my bass.
Okay. And just any bands he's in, or?
Yeah, just like him in general. Shai Lin is one of my favorites.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hip hop.
Yeah, Jesus is alive.
Yeah, I love Shai Lin.
Okay.
And then for, in contrast to putting down genres of music, I'll say Doña Cotrina, which is
Never heard of that.
An ayahuasquera. She's a curandera who works with ayahuasca and tobacco.
Okay, and that's a girl's name.
Doña Cotrina.
Cotrina.
And her songs are. She sings ayahuasca icaros, which are these healing songs.
Okay, and they're called ayahuasca because they're meant to be listened to while you're on that, right?
Right.
Okay.
But if you're like relaxed and let them like pave the way, they're like truly psychedelic. If you just listen to them and you're like, don't know what's going on behind them, you're like, oh, this is a funny little folk song.
Okay.
But if you realize that these people are like unfolding infinity, then it kind of like starts to make more sense.
So even if you're not on that stuff, you can still, you personally, you still enjoy the music.
Those riffs are just like eternal.
Okay.
Oh, so much stuff is coming to mind, but Jimi Hendrix's Band of Gypsies and the album Songs for Groovy Children has got to be up there.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
Was this a band he was in before The Experience or something, or was this after?
After The Experience. The Experience were these two British white dudes were just throwing at Jimmy, and they're like, all right, here, make us a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. But he left those guys and got together with some buddies from the Vietnam War. Okay. Buddy Miles on drums and Billy Cox on bass. Okay. And they hold it down with such a heavier, more solid groove than The Experience, and the songs are like he's at his tip top.
Are those two black guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I noticed you said he was with the two white guys, which made me remember. Do you remember the movie White Man Can't Jump?
I never saw it.
Oh, man. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's Wesley Snipes at his finest.
Oh, cool.
But there's a whole scene. So it's like Wesley Snipes, the black guy, and you got Woody Harrelson's the white guy, but he's really good at basketball. Uh-huh. So Wesley Snipes is using him to hustle people. And they keep getting to pick this dorky white guy, and then he comes in and he just schools everybody, and they make a bunch of money, right? But they're driving down the street, and I think Rosie Perez plays Woody Harrelson's girlfriend, wife, whatever. And they're playing Jimi Hendrix in the car. And Woody Harrelson's like, oh, yeah, I love Jimi Hendrix. And Wesley Snipes like, you can't hear Jimmy. He's like, white people can't hear Jimmy. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm listening to it right now. He goes, yeah, you're listening to it, but you can't hear Jimmy, right? And then Rosie Perez goes, what do you mean? Jimi Hendrix's drummer was white. And Wesley Snipes goes, no, he wasn't. And then she pulls the tape out and he's like, yeah, look at the picture right there. And then Woody Harrelson's, the whole band was white except for Jimmy. It's like Wesley Snipes is like totally floored by it, It's a funny scene. Yeah. What's that?
Not Band of Gypsies.
No, it must have been The Experience, before that. Because I'd never heard of that Band of Gypsies. I thought he just had the 3 albums total while he was alive, and that was it.
The most famous album is called Band of Gypsies Live. Mm-hmm. And it's their New Year's show at the Fillmore East. And so that was like my favorite album for like working and this and that. I actually find it similar to Doña Katrina's Ayahuasca Icaros.
Interesting.
In the structure, they're both playing in minor pentatonic like the whole time.
Yeah.
And the way he's crafting his songs to kind of like affect consciousness, I think is really similar.
Okay.
But Songs for Groovy Children is more than 40 songs from both nights of the Fillmore East, the 31st and the 1st.
And these are all songs that are unique to this Band of Gypsies band? There's no songs from...
Yeah, there's a couple that kind of like made their way over from The Experience.
Okay.
But most of the songs are unique to Band of Gypsies. Like
Interesting.
Power of Soul and Power of Love and like really, really, really cool songs.
And that must have been right before he died then.
Right before he died.
Okay.
And I think it's actually one reason he died is because he was having troubles with his record manager and this and that, but he had become so powerful and just like the hip hop thing,
right?
Because he was instilling people with love and soul to make a difference. And not long before he died, he said, "Oh, I want to rally up some Black Panthers to shoot up the White House." And then he was dead like a couple weeks later.
Yeah, you can't say things like that.
Exactly. if you've got like 30,000 people in an arena, like giving their every atom in their body to like your music, you got to be careful about your music.
Yeah. But politics, is that something you feel comfortable talking about, or you kind of like shy away from it, or?
Yeah, I mean, like, look at the etymology of the word. Poly means many, and ticks is a blood-sucking disease. Insect.
I wonder if you heard that the same place I did.
I heard it from a guy at a party.
Oh, okay. There was a Christian stand-up comedian named Thor Ramsey. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he said that. Yeah, he said something poly, poly meaning many, and ticks meaning little blood-sucking or something. It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah, politics is the one that's kind of why I put it in the middle usually, because even though people have many differing spiritual beliefs, people aren't usually as hesitant to talk about spirituality as they are politics. Like politics seems to be the one, I don't know if I want to.
I'm not hesitant.
Okay.
Any of them, unless I like clearly see that I'm causing like negativity.
Okay.
Bringing it up.
Okay. But like you mentioned, you're kind of middle of the road. So I guess what I want to know is
for politics, right or left.
Yeah. So I kind of want to know like what
it's kind of divided because like I am influenced by the Bible, and I would be seen conservative in a lot of ways, but then there's like kind of just because I want to be conservative myself doesn't mean that I need to like implore it on everybody else. Like, I don't like an agenda to like push people into like an agenda,
right?
But
I get it.
I think that people around me should be able to do what they want,
right? To an extent.
Like,
right.
They shouldn't be able to impact like me, like they shouldn't be trying to sell their,
right?
Like trying to turn my son into my daughter,
right?
Without my
yeah.
But the thing is, like, the reason there's left and right is to dichotomize the minds of the populace so that we're schizoid and not connected and bilaterally occluded to one side.
Sure.
So that like we're not functioning in a balanced way.
Yeah.
So that's like why.
That's why I always use the word leaning, because I myself don't try to align with any particular, I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat or even I'm a conservative. Like, no, I tend to lean right. And what I mean by that is a lot of these hot point issues, I tend to agree with people on the right and their views on certain things. But I'm with you as far as like forcing the government. Like, a good example of what you were just talking about from my perspective is, since I'm a Christian, since I'm a Bible believer, I don't believe that what we call gay marriage is right or ordained by God. However, I also don't think the government which is not a Christian entity, is not a biblical entity, should be dictating whether or not two men can get married or two women can get married.
Right.
So on one hand, I can say I support the legal right of gay people to get married. And then on the other hand, I can say, but I don't think it's morally right. Right. If that makes any sense. Right.
That's where I'm coming from too.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then there's certain moral convictions that I have, say abortion, where I say, I fall on the biblical morality side of that also, but I also don't think that I can just sit back and say, but you can do whatever you want. Because in my view, now we're dealing with killing somebody. Right. So it's a little harder for me just to sit back and be like, that's their life. Just let them do whatever they want. It's like, I don't think so, so, so definitely. But I'm kind of curious as to what things would you say from your belief system and your political views would put you on the right? Like what specific topics would you say, okay, this is a conservative view that I have? Or
probably most of them that you could come up with. I forgot exactly what libertarian exactly is. I haven't really thought about that in a long time, but some things that traditional conservatism might be against, like we addressed earlier, would be plant medicines. And for me, it's it's really not about drugs. It's about connection with the divine through cognitive liberty.
Okay.
So I think Hunter S. Thompson was conservative, but loved.
Is that the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he wasn't the greatest example of a human being.
Right.
But
well, that's the split though, right? And that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier with you, to where you're saying that there's many good benefits to some of these psychedelics and some of these things that people do.
Right.
But then there's also detriments.
Right.
So there has to be, at least bare minimum, there has to be regulations, maybe not necessarily outright outlawed, but say, no, these are good for these things, but then there has to be laws and regulations.
Right.
Yeah.
The way that it has been throughout the time I've been alive has actually been kind of cool, because it's mushrooms, for example, aren't regulated by the government, which is great, because once weed got regulated by the government, it's do I really want the government being involved? It's almost cooler to have to do something undercover, word of mouth. Somebody grew these in their closet or their basement.
Are they illegal though, or no? Mushrooms?
Their things are loosening. I think that they're just now decriminalizing psychedelics. Some bill that RFK brought up. And one good way to so I think that Donald Trump, MAGA, basically is the highest role in the Satanic Church, and it's from the word magistrate.
That's quite a statement right there, dude.
Yeah, so it's to have everybody chanting MAGA and him being MAGA.
Sure.
It's I'll just kind of say that there.
Yeah.
But
I agree with that for sure. Yeah.
Right.
There's definitely a kind of a cultic following to it that's there. Yeah.
And I think that okay, what was I saying? MAGA's.
Sorry, I cut you off. You talking about?
Oh, I really liked everything that RFK said before he got elected, but it seemed as soon as he got elected, they're we're going to kill your family unless you go with the agenda. Because the first thing they came up with was billions towards everybody having their own AI,
right,
and their own personalized vaccine. I was okay, you were the anti-vaccine guy, but on the first day of getting elected, you guys have to say this. So it's it's done. You're part of the machine now.
So you agreed with them with all the we're going to take down big pharma. We're going to
absolutely
allow more of the kind of homeopathic kind of stuff. And
the way the left is kind of shown in order to dichotomize them as being those that are easiest to fall in, actually the engineered agenda, which is they go, okay, everybody be against Russia, everybody stand for Ukraine. All of a sudden everybody's for Ukraine, everybody stand for Black Lives Matter. It's let's go riot in the streets even though we have a mask mandate,
right?
It's we're not allowed to go to our grandma's funeral, and we're not allowed to have more than 3 people in a room, but we can get in the streets in thousands, tens of thousands, because of what the government told us. It seems like the left is the easiest to go for something like that, and the right, or more often more cognitive thinkers that are based in rationality. But I think that the whole like MAGA right is just absolutely really.
What's an example of that? Like, what would you consider to be MAGA right?
I mean, anybody who still thinks that like Donald Trump might still be like in kind of a savior position, I think is tripping pretty hard. And
Savior, you mean like literally thinking he's like Jesus or he's the second coming of Christ, or you mean more on a smaller
like
level?
Even thinking that he like is not part of this, like the part of the machine, and like as some kind of like rogue hero, because the whole thing with Joe Biden is like they put that guy in office and let him decline in dementia in front of us in order to torture us to a point where they're like, okay, look, like the left is chopping the nards off of your children without letting you know, and they've had this like he should be in a nursing home, you know, eating like a little paper cup full of pills and like getting ready to sing songs rather than be president. And
that was like at the start of his presidency. That should have been the case.
And then it got worse.
Yeah.
But the reason they did that is so that when Donald Trump came, they'd be like, oh, he's saving us, you know, from this situation. So they set him up to be like that, but he's like making a lot of things click behind the scenes with Israel. And just like the whole NWO. But so
do you think he's like what's the word they use, he's in bed with Israel or
absolutely 1 billion%
because of his son-in-law, you think?
I don't know about that, but saw this video of a rabbi. I know we were just talking about conspiracy theories and videos, but he was describing they have a coin where it has Donald Trump's head and King Cyrus's head, and they think that he's the one who's regaining the Temple Mount for the temple, and they just started rebuilding the temple. I heard that, And he's the one, like, you know, Gaza's been there for thousands of years, and Palestinians come from Philistine, and Gaza is mentioned in the Bible, and it was a stronghold since, like, for 4,000 years, because it's, like, Old Testament stuff where they, like, made deals to let the Philistines stay. You think the Palestinians are descendant of the Philistines? Yeah. Okay. And I might be wrong about that. I never heard that anybody say that before. So yeah, like Palestine and Philistine. Because what I always hear from people that are talking about that, they say Palestine is not ever listed, and you don't hear about them at all in the Bible ever. Which is kind of the Philistines. The Philistines are in there for sure. Yeah, that's where Goliath came from. So they're always the enemies of Israel. Yeah, they're the oldest enemies. Right. And then Donald Trump came and with Israel, decimated Gaza. So now it's just like dirt. And before he even did that, he had plans for it to be a resort and a golf course, which, that was like in the news and stuff. Which that's goofy anyway. Would you go? I mean, no, of course not. Right? I mean, even if you like Trump or you like, oh, that'd be kind of, I'm a golfer, I'd go to a resort. I don't think to myself, I'm going to go to a resort in the Gaza Strip. Yeah, that sounds like a good place to take my family on vacation. That's like going to Auschwitz. Yes, exactly. Better weather. Right. Yeah. Right. And I mean, that's a dumb idea. I don't think that would get any. No, but it's like idiocracy level. It's like nothing is even like remotely have any semblance of harmonization. Okay. Right. Yeah. So is there anything that's okay? Let me ask you this way: the first term of Trump, do you think that he came in more of like what you just described a minute ago, right? People saw him as this rogue. You can't buy him off. He's not part of this system. He's got all the money he needs. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think people liked that. Right. They didn't necessarily like his personality or some of the way that he talked to people, and he was rude and he said mean things. But a lot of America's like, you know what? We're tired of this government bred constant. These guys have been in government for 30 years, and now they finally made it to president, and they're all part of the same system, and they're all just, the same. Oh, Trump's coming in. You can't buy him off. So I think that's what got people excited. Right. So in his first term, do you think that he did anything beneficial? Like you thought, oh man, yeah. Yeah, there was a whole lot of stuff. Okay, so you were happy with him in the first term. There seemed to be a lot of good things that was coming from him. Okay. But, Yeah, I thought like when RFK joined him, I was like, oh, rad. And then Elon Musk joined him, and I was like, oh, this is weird.
Okay.
You know?
Do you think Musk is a Nazi? Do you think he gave the Nazi salute?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think like, I don't know if he's a Nazi, but I think he did that to provoke.
You think he actually gave the Nazi salute? Like that's what he was doing?
I watched the video over and over.
I've seen it too. Yeah,
it looked pretty deliberate.
Well, I mean, that's really committing political suicide, though. Really.
But there is no political suicide. It's like the more somebody hates you, the more
you think so.
Esteem. Yeah, now
I don't know.
All these people are merely like, if anybody had political suicide, it was Trump. People hated him more than anybody else on the whole planet, and then he made second term. Yeah,
but like let's say before this, during the elections for the second term, right? He's running against Kamala Harris, and during one of the last debates or one of the last speeches he gives or whatever, Trump not only gives the Nazi salute but says, "Hail Hitler! I hope to turn America into Nazi Germany." Mm. If he would have done that, I promise you, Kamala Harris would be the president right now. Guaranteed.
I guess you're right.
So that would be like political suicide for sure, right?
But it was after they won, so there was nothing.
Right, I understand that. I guess that's true. That's a good point. But I guess to me, like if I'm Elon Musk and I'm a closet Nazi or whatever, and I'm a white supremacist or whatever you want to say, I don't know. I don't know if I would go out there and in not only just a room full of people, but something that's being televised and it's going to be replayed across the nation. If I would do that, it just seems like a stupid move to me.
Right.
And I don't really see any real motive behind it. I don't know. That's just me, I guess.
Yeah, maybe it was some autistic spaz out thing.
But some of the stuff he's doing with SpaceX is pretty stinking cool, man. You got to admit that at least. The guy's pretty smart.
Like what?
I don't know. Like some of those, the way the ships are like going up and just landing back down again, like stuff you only see in like Star Trek movies before that.
Right.
You know, I don't know.
A lot of that's like that whole thing's an agenda in itself.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the agenda there?
I don't like we're living like in a closed system, and not a single star has moved like a centillion in thousands of years. Like we're not just spinning through like some chaotic astral soup.
Yeah.
You know, so the lie was fed to us that we live on this closed system and that the moon is like some distant thing. That's why nobody's been to the moon since the 60s.
Okay.
And they had.
Do you think they were there in the 60s?
No.
Okay. I was about to say, you just said you're a conspiracy guy, but do you believe the moon landing? So no, you don't think the moon landing happened?
Stanley Kubrick literally admitted that he worked on the set for the moon landing.
Yeah.
He literally admitted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Stanley Kubrick was kind of crazy towards the end of his life.
Yeah, well. And you know, it's like, I could absolutely admit that I could be wrong about anything, but from
I could too.
I could too.
Yeah, okay.
You know.
All right. There you go, Mike. I'm sure you're listening to this episode. That's for you, buddy. Your friend Ben agrees with you on this. So
absolutely, Mike knows what's up.
So like what things? So then we go fast forward to now, Trump's second term. Are you less happy with him now? You think he's doing crazy nutso things that you're not a fan of, or are you still kind of like, he's still rocking it?
No, I mean, like, I was still under following, like, no, absolutely not. Like, the second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything specific that he's doing this year?
Well, as I said at the beginning, like, this, that, or the other thing, I think he's, like, a key cog in the NWO agenda, and he's, like, really deep level, like, the cabal that, like, runs everything, he's, like, right in there. Because, like, calling it MAGA, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're comparing him to Cyrus and bringing in the third temple and being kind of a messiah to the Jews.
So you think he's the Antichrist?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you think he's at least, because as a believer, as you are, you the building of the second temple is end time stuff, right? So that's kind of
end time stuff, but too many people hate Trump. Like, the Antichrist is going to be like actually like rad. It's going to be hard.
Right.
It's going to be hard not to like the Antichrist.
That's true. That's a good point.
It's really easy not to like Donald Trump.
I'm going to use that next time somebody tells me Trump's the Antichrist. I'm going to be like, actually, no, people are going to love the Antichrist.
He's not likable enough.
Yeah, they don't like Trump very much. So I think that's a proof right there.
Antichrist is going to be so cool.
Yeah.
He's going to bring everybody together. There's going to be like peace everywhere. He's going to say all the right things.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of Christians though will know that he's the Antichrist? Like, who do you think will be deceived? Do you think like everybody, or do you think like the Christians will get it because they'll know from Scripture what they're looking for?
It's definitely like kind of like some Christians will be more observant, and some will just be along for the ride.
Right.
Like if a Christian could like Trump now, they might like the Antichrist when he comes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, because I think about that stuff like building the temple, and to me, if anything, that just shows that it's progressing.
Oh, no doubt.
Which is a good thing, really.
I think it could all go down in the next 5 or 10 years for sure.
Yeah. Which is cool, but then kind of sad at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's things I still want to do,
Yeah.
I want to watch my grandkids grow up. I want to,
Right.
I want to visit Europe, stuff like that, But then a Christian will tell me, yeah, but Ryan, like heaven, the new earth, that's all way better than any of that stuff.
It's true.
So it's like, well, maybe, but
that's what I would.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So you mentioned a few times, I think the last time you just mentioned it, you said something about chopping the nards off our kids.
Yeah.
So it sounds like to me, and this is just trying to like project on what you're trying to say, but it sounds to me like you're a big fan of the transgender stuff. So, and that's sarcasm, by the way.
Right. So like I kind of see in myself, like I feel like just being more natural is good. And if people have been blurring gender 1,000 years ago, then like, it's not on me to like constrict their gender fluidity. If you want to behave like you want to behave,
sure,
that's totally fine.
Okay.
But if
but what if they want you to align with that, and they want you to treat them as if they are, let's say, a woman, let's say a man who claims to be a woman, believes he's a woman on the inside, and he wants you to treat him that way? Are you okay doing that? You have no problem?
I'm okay treating anybody how they ask to be treated.
Okay. What about furries?
Yeah.
So if somebody, you say your brother or your family member decides he's a cat, and when he comes to your house, he wants you to make sure you have the litter box ready because he's going to crap in the litter box, and he wants you to feed him on the floor in a bowl and the whole thing. And say he's dead serious. He's not playing around. He's like, no, man, really, I'm a cat on the inside. You would just totally.
I would probably just avoid family gatherings.
Yeah. You'd be like, hey, man, you can't come over anymore. That was the end of the straw. And I'm being funny, of course, but I try to push it because it's like, yes, I can say.
That's what I'm kind of like what started out. Did they do it 1,000 years ago? Right. And it's like, if it's to this point now where it's like, if you're doing surgery, if you're taking pharmaceuticals, if you're like insisting on people like give you a litter box. Right. If people weren't doing that 1,000 years ago, then I don't think it's good now. Okay. Yeah. So that's an interesting way to look at it. So that's the way you view like the surgeries and like literally getting, sex change surgery or even hormone blockers and that kind of stuff, puberty blockers. So you're against those things? I technically don't think that they're productive for like me or my family. If people want to go ahead and alter themselves like that, that's fine. But what about 13-year-old kids? Do you think they should be able to make that decision, or that their parents should be able to make that decision for them? It's like once it gets into an agenda to encourage people to do that, and for insurance money going into it, and trying to talk to underage people about it and doing it without parents being aware of it, all that stuff is clearly twisted under the lens of the would it have happened 1,000 years ago concept, or even 100 years ago or 10 years ago. Okay, that's That's a fascinating way to look at it. I've never had anybody say it that way before. Yeah, but thousands of years ago, there were like sacrificing people and stuff like that too. So that's true. That's true. But I kind of understand what you're saying when it comes to this. But 1,000 years ago, saying like, in Europe, by that point there were just like churches and castles everywhere. Yeah. They weren't really sacrificing people, and the history in North America, the Native Americans don't have the strongest history of sacrificing people. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's not really that.
Okay.
There were a lot of societies like that, like the Aztecs and the Maya.
Yeah.
But that's not.
Just like today.
Yeah.
There's-
Maya were pretty gnarly.
Yeah. There's civilizations that are good today, and other ones that are like, whoa, I would never even want to visit there, let alone live there.
Right.
You know, because they have a whole different set of rules and laws, and you know, certain parts of the world, if you're a woman, you got no rights at all. I mean, you can't even.
Yeah, that's messed up.
You know, so.
I do like how Christianity has affected culture. And yeah.
Like in a good way, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like it brought like peace, which you can really hear in like the monk chants, like the music that came out of it was really beautiful and peaceful.
Yeah.
And it brought more equality between men and women, because in the scripture there's verses about how women should be treated.
Yeah. Yeah, and Jesus himself, I mean, he did things even during his time where it's like, why is he talking to that woman?
Right.
They're like, men aren't supposed to talk to women like that, you know? And say, he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, so I think even he kind of revolutionized a lot of things with that respect, you know, and that's why people try to tell me that Christianity is misogynistic or whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
But they talk about things like roles of men and women and husband and wives, and they see it as sexist. But my argument is kind of like, yeah, but it hasn't always been like, it's not, unless you view it through the lens of kind of a feministic mindset. That's a newer thing, right? That whole mindset is new in the last 100 years or so, you know? Yeah. So I think Jesus and Christianity elevated women to a status that they weren't at before, but
especially in Middle Eastern society.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, what kind of things politically, like, for lack of a better word, like, kind of get your blood boiling? Is there anything that you see? I mean, you look like a very laid back, kind of chill kind of guy, but I mean, is there things that like you see happening in the world, or you watch the news, you're like,
yeah. I've had to like kind of let go of one of my big triggers. I was really like fighting for it a lot because of how invasive it was to every aspect of my life, which is the aerosolization of the atmosphere for supposed solar geoengineering purposes.
Oh, you're gonna have to break that down for me. You said a lot of words I don't even know in there.
Well, the
airsoft. What'd you say?
Like the chemtrails.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's no longer a conspiracy theory. It's like totally disclosed. They've had congressional meetings about it. There's a lot of information about it. And I've just been like observing it for years, and I was really vocal about it, but we're coming to a time where it's like, I was preaching to the choir, to the people that knew and the people that didn't know, were just like, it was causing division and maybe like lessening possibilities, because closing doors with people who would like judge me for like, even though it's like absolutely ridiculous to like do that.
Yeah, that's smart though. When you converse with people, you have to be able to discern whether this is fruitful or not, or if it's worth. Because sometimes you can talk to somebody and they get mad at you.
Yeah.
But it's in the end, it's fruitful.
Media.
Or so, yeah, where you don't even know these people anyway.
Right.
You know, but sometimes it's necessary to have a conflict or to have even a heated discussion about something, because the fruit happens after that. But then sometimes you can just tell, like, nah, this is going to make this person hate me, and it's going to be for nothing.
Yeah.
So then it's best just like, no, I won't even talk about it.
Being a music teacher, or even my buddy Nate, he does house restoration. And somebody was like, no, I won't work with you because you're a Trumper, even though he hasn't made a single political post, but they saw that he was like a Christian and they thought he was a Trumper. So
yeah, because those things are always exactly the same.
Exactly.
I hate that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I had somebody ask me the other day, like you like Alex Jones, right? No, I don't like Alex Jones. What are you talking about? You know, and people think, oh, Ryan's a Christian and he's a conservative, therefore he must like every other person on the planet who claims to be those two things.
Right, exactly.
Like,
that's the
world?
dichotomization of our minds.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's why I always have to ask people, what do you mean by that? Ryan, are you a Christian? You tell me what you mean by that, and then I'll tell you if I fit that description. Ryan, are you conservative? Again, you tell me what you mean by that, you know? Because if you, in your mind, a conservative Christian is a right-wing nut job, white supremacist, Nick Fuentes kind of guy or something.
Yeah.
And I just say, yeah, I am. And then you walk away in your head thinking, oh, Ryan's just like Nick Fuentes.
Right.
No, I'm not going to let you walk away thinking that about me if it's not true.
Right.
So, yeah, so I get it.
Yeah, and it's interesting that, like, being liberal is connoted with being Democrat.
Right.
And being conservative is being connoted with Republicanism.
Correct. Yeah.
Because they're not actually, like, related in that particular way. They could be, like, switched around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But I cut you off, though. I want to hear more about the chemtrails.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which are the things, right? If I'm correct here, they used to say it's clouds.
Yeah,
they're like real thin clouds.
Condensation trails.
Yeah. Okay.
From the airplanes.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're chemicals.
Yeah. You can watch them, like, they start, like, kind of, like, if you look east in the morning, you'll see them going on. And sometimes you see it really, really heavy. But they're going all different directions. They're not following, like, particular flight patterns. And sometimes they can release stuff that oftentimes it starts out as, like, a streak, and the streak kind of expands. And next thing you know, the sky is just, like, become humid. And they just did this thing in the Middle East where they knocked out, like, these Nora and HARP towers. And then it started to rain intensely in Iran. But anyways, it's the high frequency, like 5G and HARP towers. They excite the heavy metals that are let out in the atmosphere, which causes the weather to change to become, like, cloudy and start to rain and stuff like that. But even the existence of these frequencies, like for cell phones and stuff, it has the power to also make it not rain. So that's, like, the story of, like, in Iran where it's just started to rain and flood and all over the place, is because these particular, like, high frequency stations were knocked out there. There were, like, U.S. government high frequency stations.
So so break that down, though. Like, what are you saying, that those towers or whatever were preventing that weather from happening, and then when they were torn down, then the weather just happened? Yeah.
Right, and that's one reason why we haven't had as much natural rain as we would here in the States. And they're doing the cloud seeding, and they say there's solar geoengineering to protect us from global warming. But it causes global warming because it puts all this heavy metal particulate and who knows, like, what else, lots of other stuff in the atmosphere that causes a greenhouse effect, or like a solar oven effect.
Okay.
So
does this play into global warming?
What's that?
Does this play into global warming?
I think
climate change.
Global warming is a bit of an agenda, and
Okay.
you can tell by looking at, like, ports in Greece and Rome, where the sea level hasn't changed like an inch in, like, 3,000 years.
Okay.
So I think that global warming is a bit of an agenda, but that's why they say they're doing the solar geoengineering, which is the chemtrails, because they're like, oh, we're protecting you from the sun. So that's how it plays into global warming.
Gotcha. So you think it's a ruse kind of thing?
Yeah, that's more of a narrative. But right now they're coding us with, like, evidently, like, nanotech, which is like a smart dust, which is like we get Laden down with us and they can track us everywhere and we're tied into our cell phones. And graphene oxide, which is controlled by high frequencies. So basically they're, like, making us cyborgs from the inside out. Yeah. Because they're basically, like, saturating us with smartphone material so that we're connected to our smartphones and everything else. Yeah. But it's, like, constructs from the inside, so we're going... Okay. Like, we're all, like, going Borg.
Wow, man.
Yeah, that's why I want to move to Mexico, but...
Have you been there?
Anyways.
You been to Mexico before?
Everything I just said was a matter of opinion and not meant to form any...
Yes.
It was actually all... I was just mocking conspiracy theorists. With
Gotcha. Those stupid conspiracy theorists.
They're just idiots, and I'm 100% for the New World Order.
That's right.
And Donald Trump is my daddy.
That's right. There you go, dude. You got it all out. That's good stuff. Yeah. So, given, like, kind of the state of the world and the way things are going, do you think, and your belief, I mean, we'll get to your belief, your actual beliefs in a minute, but you seem to be alluding Christianity as your kind of your your religious belief system.
Yeah, mixed with medicine, like indigenous.
Right. Yeah, but you see a time where Jesus is coming back. You see an end happening. Like you believe the stuff in Revelation as being an end.
I think there's more truth to be construed from the Bible than not. But I also don't think the Bible is inerrant, and I don't think that people translate it the way that it should be translated a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's how Mormonism started.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's like, all the English translations you guys have are wrong. This angel Moroni came from heaven and gave me the true translation. Oh yeah. That's why they're the Church of Latter-day Saints. Oh yeah. They're the new version. But
yeah, there's some other interesting little cults too that I enjoy.
Yeah, that you enjoy.
Like the ayahuasca, Jesus cult, Santa Jaime. They've got some pretty beautiful music. Okay. Yeah, my buddy played guitar in their ceremonies. Oh wow! So it's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I don't resonate it with it completely, but it's fascinating. Yeah.
Do you think though that kind of the way that it's like two different things, right? You got the way the world's going, the weird things that are happening, the government, our corrupt system, all this kind of stuff. Do you think all of that is going to be the end in a sense, or do you think that the Lord's going to be the end before that? Like, in other words, do you think kind of like the stuff that the Bible talks about as the end times is going to happen before we destroy ourselves? Or do you think we're going to destroy ourselves and then it's going to be like, and then Jesus comes back and there's like 5 people left on earth because we, all that stuff, zombie apocalypse and all that,
Yeah, technically, according to Scripture, we're going to fall into a state of chaos where we're going to destroy a lot of ourselves. It's like a third taken out by a comet, and like a third taken out by the oceans turning to blood. Right. So it's going to be in a pretty pitiful state, but we're still going to have a pretty good populace when Christ comes back, if I remember from
a third of the population would be left, right?
I forgot. Okay. I forgot exactly what the percentage is. Okay. But I know that a third keeps getting taken out when the 7 bowls of judgment are poured. Yeah. It's just like, and a plagues will take out this much. I think it was a third. Yeah. A plague will take out this much, yeah.
But do you believe in the rapture? Like, do you think that Christians will be gone before all that?
No.
No. You don't believe it at all, or you believe it happened after that, or like the rapture?
Think maybe after that.
After, okay. But, so you're what they call post-trib.
I guess so.
Okay. That kind of sucks.
But I'm admittedly like not that.
Okay.
I don't know for sure about that.
Right. Yeah. Well, who does?
Exactly.
Nobody knows for sure. I mean, come on.
But that's one of the few things I don't have a strong opinion on. But I just don't think it's going to be like that. It seems like a little too miraculous. Right. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that stuff either. It's even reading Revelation is like there's some cool symbolism and stuff in there, but for me to walk away from Revelation going, oh yeah, I totally understand all that. It makes, this is exactly how it's going to go down. I can tell you what all these things mean. No, I don't think anybody does. I don't care if you're, Tim LaHaye or any of these guys that are trying to figure out Bible prophecy. It's like, there's a reason why it's symbolic and cryptic, We're not supposed to understand and know it completely, but guys spend their lives doing that.
Yep. And isn't the rapture like referred to Paul's verse about us like changing in the twinkling of an eye and being caught up?
Yes. Is that
so? That's kind of
is that an Pauline letter or is that? I thought it was
pretty sure it's Pauline. Yeah.
Yeah, that part I'm not sure, but yeah.
So I think that's
the word rapture is not even in Scripture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's enough like proof to prove that.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that we would go through the tribulation because Christ went through his tribulation.
Right.
Whatnot.
It just sucks.
Yeah.
Especially when you read about what it's going to be like. It's like, I don't want to be here for that.
No.
Yeah, I don't want my kids and my grandkids and whoever to be here for that. That's terrible.
Okay, yeah, I really hope that he like scoops us up.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Let's get you guys out of there real quick.
Yeah.
But then there'll be people, if that's what happens, there'll obviously be people that are going to come to the Lord after that or even during that maybe. I mean, can you imagine, again, hypothetically, because I don't know if I'm post, pre-trib. I don't really know where I fall on that because I don't really have a strong opinion on it either. But assuming it's like pre-trib, like all the Christians are out of here, right before the tribulation starts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about all the people that were non-believers that knew believers. Like, say, even in a household, let's say me and my wife and my 4 kids. Let's say half of us are saved, half of us are not.
Mm-hmm.
And the half that are not, the whole time are listening to me, and the ones that are saying, oh, you got to believe in Jesus, you got this, And then they're like, nah, that's crap. That's ridiculous. I don't believe in that. And then one day we're all just gone.
Yeah.
Like every professing Christian like on the planet is just vanishes.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I mean, if I was a non-believer, that'd be enough for me.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, all right, sign me up. I believe now.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is the real deal,
No doubt, yeah.
So I think the revival during that time would be just massive.
No doubt.
But it would still suck to have to go through all that crazy stuff with all that, scorpions and all that stuff.
Yeah. The flying scorpions.
Flying scorpions, yeah.
With, like, hair and, like...
Yeah. The heads of lions
heads
or
of
something.
lions,
yeah. Gnarly, dude.
Yeah.
See, and I have another friend who thinks that's all symbolic, and he might be right. I mean, it's like, no, it's not an actual creature, Ryan, with the scorpion's body and a lion's head, and, and he might be right. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but it's kind of cool, though.
It's a helicopter.
It's kind of, yeah. See, that's what they try to say too. It's actually a helicopter.
Right.
I've seen lots of helicopters. None of them have faces like lions. I don't know. That's maybe they're like army ones that are painted.
But you didn't eat the golden scroll.
I didn't. That's true.
Or the scroll that tasted like honey.
Yes.
But made his belly sick.
Bitter. Yeah. Maybe that's some of that stuff you're talking about.
Maybe.
What was it again? The
ayahuasca.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. Every time you said it, I think Hiawatha.
Oh yeah,
that little Indian kid in the cartoon.
Oh, Hiawatha.
Yeah, maybe he was taking ayahuasca.
I mean,
ayahuasca.
Yeah, it's a Peruvian, like South American, Bolivia, Colombia.
How do they take that? Do you eat it? Do you drink it? Do you
drink it?
You make it like a tea out of it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, you mix together 2 plants. One's the DMT, and one allows the DMT to linger in your synapse so that it's uptake. And you have a consistent journey. They also make a snuff. It's actually the oldest known evidence of using psychedelics. Which they found a cougar bone that they were huffing DMT through.
Really?
Yeah. Like 6,000 years ago.
They're using a cougar bone like a pipe.
In Argentina.
Okay.
Or in the nose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's this a seed from a tree called the chilba tree, Andithiana peregrina. But yeah, it's got 5-MeO-DMT in it, which is like what's in the toad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So besides the chemtrails thing, just kind of finish up on politics. What other stuff is like really? What do you feel like passionate about? Is there anything you feel like really passionate about that's happening in the world or that's happening within the government or our political system in any way?
I'm just like really depressed and sickened by how they're poisoning our environment because like I'm in love with like nature.
Mm-hmm.
So when I feel like I have a connection with nature, like even if it's just like a couple miles out into the wilderness, I feel amazing, and I find this like so much truth and like eternity in nature.
Yeah.
So to have everything, that's why the chemtrails bug me so much.
Okay.
Because you look up and you can see him, and it's being uptaked by like all living organisms, and to me it like really looks like this like submersive death blow like towards the end.
Yeah.
For it, as toxic as it is right here, which is why I kind of want to move. But as I said, I talked about it a lot. Like I was like probably the most vocal out of like my 2,000 something Facebook friends. I was the one that was consistently posting about it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, like I'm not really exactly sure where it has you go, and
right.
Especially like we're in a time now where like I won't even talk about it, but like censorship happens in a different way.
Yeah.
And even putting like this out, like AI is like always listening.
Yeah.
And like through some of the stuff that's happening, they're constantly taking tabs on like every word that comes out of your mouth.
Dude, when I release these on is it Spotify? I think it's Spotify. Mm-hmm. Like AI now, this is a new thing that my daughter told me about. She said, did you know that when I listen to your episodes on Spotify, it actually makes little chapter divisions?
Oh, wow.
And it'll actually say a topic that we're discussing in that section.
Wow.
And it's like instant.
I thought you had to edit that in there.
No, it's like I don't do any of that. I don't even go to Spotify. I release it on. I use a platform called Libsyn, which I just upload it on there, and then they distribute it.
Wow.
Right, and they charge me a monthly fee and all that. But they put it to Apple, to Spotify, to Podbean, to all these different places. Right.
Whoa.
And then Spotify, dude, and it's like as soon as I upload it. I mean, I upload a 5-hour episode, and the instant I upload it, it's already got those in there. Mm-hmm. You already listened. AI already listened through the whole thing and took notes.
Wow.
Dude, it's nuts.
You can probably do it in like milliseconds.
Yeah.
Like,
it's crazy, dude. And I'm like, man, you know, and you think of all the hours that I put into putting these episodes out, and then AI was like, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, shoot, man. It's like, dang it.
Pretty soon they'll just have AI podcasts with our, with our AI mirror. And it'll be like, oh, here's Ben's like effigy in the AI world. We're just going to talk to him while Ben can keep like feeding the machine. Yeah. Like the Matrix.
And then you'll just sit back and get rich, dude. You know, getting fat rich off the people, you know?
Right.
So do you think kind of like the view of the earth, and, you know, people say Mother Earth, or they say however they, so do you think like God put us, I mean, I know you think this, God put us here on the earth he created, and do you think that we're like supposed to be stewards of the nature and the land and the earth, and like we've just been totally screwing it up, and God's like, dude, you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
That was like our first role, was like caretaking the garden.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think we should steward the earth, and we are totally screwing it up. And it says in Revelations, like one of the last chapters, that Christ is coming to like slay those who destroy the earth. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Because I don't recycle as much as I should, man.
Yeah. If you know, use styrofoam cups.
Yeah. I don't.
Okay.
I don't use I hate styrofoam. I don't even like when it comes in my stuff I buy, like electronics and stuff, and it'll come with the styrofoam. I hate that stuff because I try to, you know, throw it away or put it wherever I got to put it, and it breaks apart, and you got them stupid little particles falling all over the place. I hate styrofoam.
Like a layer in the geologic.
Yeah, right.
Like the styrofoam era.
Yeah. Like in thousands of years from now, they'll be like, oh, and the fossil layer, and there's this, and oh, there's the styrofoam layer. Yep. Yeah. Wow, dude. Yeah, I don't like any of that stuff. I don't even the restaurant. I work at a restaurant at night a couple nights a week, and they don't use styrofoam either.
That's great.
So, not because of me. I mean, I wasn't like, hey, I refuse to work here unless you guys get rid of all that styrofoam.
Right.
You know, you don't really see a lot of styrofoam anywhere. Do you still see a lot of styrofoam?
Yeah, you know, honestly, not as much.
Yeah, because like everything, all cups were styrofoam, all to-go boxes were styrofoam. Now there seem to be more like cardboard and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, which probably also isn't as good, unless it's recycled cardboard, right? Reused cardboard.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
So there was a thing, I'll have to find this. I'm not going to really speak on this at all because I don't remember it, and I don't remember specifically what was said. But I'm going to find it, and I'm going to send it to you, and I want to know your thoughts on it, just because you're very big on the environment and stuff. But there was a podcast I had listened to where the guy was kind of talking about, I don't remember what happened in the world that made him go down this road, but he's basically showing all these different things that what he would call the hippie movement or the green movement was trying to, quote unquote, save the earth by doing certain things. And then he showed how, in the long run, they were worse for the earth. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard anything like that before?
Well, when I was growing up, my dad had this book called The Politically Incorrect Guide to Environmentalism.
Okay.
PIG, Politically Incorrect Guide.
Oh, okay.
And it had a lot of like little anecdotes about how backwards the left's idea of environmentalism is, because it seems right and it seems good.
Okay.
You know, but there's a lot of like weird, contradictory outcomes. Okay. Especially when trying to go through like these like corporate hierarchical, you gotta get involved in law and politics and like lobbying, and it starts to lose its like the spirit of whatever you were working on.
Okay. So you disagree then with a lot of the left in their way that they're kind of going about stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like
when it comes to the environment. Okay.
the chemtrails, and they're doing it to protect us from global warming. It's
Yeah.
like, that's a leftist narrative. You know?
Do you believe in global warming? Do you think it's a real thing? Or are you one of those climate deniers?
Well, as I said earlier, like 3,000 years ago, they had ports
Yeah.
in Rome and Greece, and the water level of the ocean hasn't changed an inch. Like, you can still put your boat down in the same port that they did thousands of years ago. So I don't know if there's as much validity behind it. They're using it as a narrative.
I agree with that for sure.
And that's why they're doing the chemtrails.
Okay.
Is because of that narrative. They're using that as a narrative to be able to coat us with chemicals and all day long. You know what I mean?
What would be the goal of that? Like, what would be their why are they doing that?
Control, population
Okay.
control. And as I said, they're saturating us from the inside out to be matriculated with AI. So, like, you know, they're basically putting little operating systems in all humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That's like, that's some sci-fi kind of stuff right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm such a kook that nothing I'm saying is true.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm glad you keep saying that.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you put that out there. So everybody knows I'm just screwing around. I'm not being serious. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Well, before we leave the political realm, I want to make sure that there's nothing else. I mean, is there anything else you want to touch on? Because you talked about how I know you had told me there was a lot of things. I don't want to keep throwing out my own stuff and leave something that you want to talk about and then not get to it.
Well, I think that, like, moving to spirituality would be better, because I think that politics is an expression of spirituality, or like energy into a physical realm that becomes laden with semantic blockage. So let's just take it over to spirituality.
All right. Well, give me the. I know you mentioned, like, briefly before about kind of your grew up Christian, kind of fell away is not the words you use, but you kind of went your own way for a while, and then you felt like you came back to the church and to the Lord. But kind of let's get a little deeper into that.
Okay. Yeah, growing up, my parents would pray with me before bed, and I would also always pray before bed, and my prayer was the same every single night, and it was like, I forgot exactly what it was, but I remember a couple lines, like, protect the house from bad guys. Stuff like that.
From orange cats.
Yeah, I pray that I'll have no bad dreams, protect the house from bad guys. Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember kind of the feelings of some of my first, like, deliberate sins, and one was that God was supposed to be the you can never put yourself in God's position. And I remember hiding in a corner telling myself that I was more powerful than God.
Oh, wow.
And, like, covering myself with a blanket so nobody could see me. And looking back, I'm like, that's a really interesting... I was calling myself Super Ben.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's an interesting human experience.
But you were covering yourself because you were afraid that God was going to smite you or something for thinking that way? It was
more like I was hiding from my parents, but I was, like, in the living room under a blanket saying, like, I'm Super Ben, I'm more powerful than God.
Wow, dude. That's like John Lennon saying we're bigger than Jesus.
Yeah.
You know?
It's blasphemous.
Yeah.
And I was, like, 5.
Wow, dude. And did you feel guilty after that? Like, did you feel like a...
No, not at all. And it's like, I felt some guilt while I was saying it, but I didn't really think of the significance of it until 20 years later.
Okay.
You know? And I remember one of my first lies. It was the classic, did you eat cookies from the cookie jar?
Oh, yeah.
And I did.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, Benny, you ate those cookies. And I was like, no, I didn't. And she's like, you're lying.
Yeah.
And in my head, I saw myself as a lion. And I was like, I'm not a lion. So I told her, like, I'm not lying. And that was me, like, telling the truth without lying.
That's smart, dude.
Yeah.
How old are you then?
Like, really young.
See, that's smart, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm not lying.
Yeah.
The animal. You know, but you don't have to say that part. You have to say that part because you know what you mean.
Right.
Okay.
It was just
Yeah.
Totally being a snake.
That's funny, man. And you mentioned a brother before. Do you have any siblings? Do you have?
Yeah, I have one younger brother.
Okay.
And he's about almost 2 years younger than me.
Okay.
And actually a little more than 2 years. And or was a little less than 2 years. Anyways, he's got bright, like, people can't see me, but I'm skinny. I've got like brown hair, pretty relaxed.
Yeah.
My brother has bright orange hair, freckles. He's like really pretty rotund.
Yeah.
And he's intense, and he is one of the most hilarious people I've ever met. He has like constant material. Even sharing the same room with him, we'd wake up in the morning and he would have this like Jim Carrey-esque like comedy that was ongoing.
Wow.
But he was like very, like ADHD, like against the grain, like always shaking it up.
And you guys are from the same two parents?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We think so. Pretty sure.
Does he take after one of your parents? Did one of your parents have red hair and freckles?
No.
Okay.
They say that both our grandmas had red hair, but I haven't seen.
Skip the generation.
Many pictures of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Reddish hair.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my brother. And he spent 5 years on a nuclear sub.
Oh wow.
He works at Diablo now. He's married to another redhead. Named Callie, and he got his divinatory degree, and he is pastoring a church called Bible Believers Baptist Church in Templeton.
Wow.
Yeah.
BBBC.
And his sermons are like, I don't know if he would be offended by me saying this, but I think they're really like entertaining. Like, and they're all about being really strict to the Bible.
Okay.
But my brother has such like a flamboyant, like off the wall personality, and he's doing his best to be like, he goes into like little side like funny things making people laugh.
Right.
But he does his best to be like serious, and to me it's like I could be in a comedy club. Like it's Yeah.
So you think he should be a stand-up comedian instead of a pastor is what you're saying?
I don't know. I don't know about that.
He could be a Christian stand-up comedian. Those guys are pretty big these days.
Yeah. Well, the way that his sermons work, it kind of works out.
Okay.
His sermons are like kind of comedic.
So we should just start clipping his sermons, send him to Comedy Central, and see how that goes.
Yeah. He's like a mix between Jim Carrey and what's that conservative psychologist's name that like
conservative psychologist?
Russ Peters.
Jordan Peterson?
Jordan Peterson.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like his philosophy.
Okay. I was trying to think of another funny guy. And when I think of funny guys, like Jordan Peterson does not. Okay, I see what you're saying. Jordan Peterson. Mix of the serious and the silly. Yeah. Yep. Because I'm not sure I've ever seen Jordan Peterson smile or laugh ever. And I've watched lots of his stuff. So yeah, he's just a very serious guy. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So you just have the one sibling then?
Yeah.
Okay. And he's how much younger than you?
Almost 2 years.
2 years. Okay. Okay. So then, so back to kind of your upbringing. At what point do you get to where you kind of did you start questioning, or was it more that you started wanting to do your own thing and the church wasn't letting you?
Really young. I remember, like maybe I was 7 or something. Mm-hmm. And I had a crisis in faith at like 7 years old.
Dang, dude. That's early for that.
I know. And I was like, talking to my dad about it, and I was like, but Dad, like, how do we know? And I remember the last things I said, my dad was like, well, may God bless you. And I'm like, oh, you mean like the tooth fairy? And he's like, my dad got mad at me. Mm-hmm. And he was like, pointed his finger at me, and he's like, don't you call my God the tooth fairy. And he like left and slammed the door.
Wow.
Yeah. But I remember that's one of the first times that I like really.
Were you actually questioning? Were you trying to say that this God guy, in quotes, was like the tooth fairy?
I was full on, like, had a full, like, question. Yeah,
okay.
I was, like, not getting it.
Wow.
But over time, like, I had this relationship with God. He was kind of like my imaginary friend. Like, he was always there. I could always talk to him. Mm-hmm. and I saw like logically how creation was created. And I spent time in youth group, and we had pretty intelligent pastors. It was through Calvary Chapel. They had some youth pastors that were like very, very Bible smart. So it formed like a lot of my thinking and my logic, like getting really deep into the Bible, like book by book.
Yeah. And, was that the church you went to when you were a kid? Was Calvary Chapel?
Mm-hmm.
In AG?
Slow.
In Slow.
Yeah.
Who was the pastor? Do you remember?
Brian Stupar.
Okay. I don't think I know him.
Mm-hmm.
I think I knew the one in AG. But yeah, because we go to Calvary now. Here in Santa Maria. That's where we've been that's where we started when I first became a Christian back in 2002. Mm-hmm. And then we left there and went somewhere else for like 12 years, and then somewhere else for 5 years, and then we full circle ended up back at Calvary again. So we've been back this time about 4 years now. So
cool.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to youth group. You're that kid that's always asking questions, or what? You're that one that's like,
yeah, I was always asking the questions that people had a really hard time answering, like constantly.
Yes,
and always thinking I was finding like contradictions in the scripture.
Yeah.
And
why were you doing that? Were you doing that? I mean, in hindsight, do you think you were doing that because you were genuinely seeking the truth, or because part of you maybe didn't want Christianity to be true because then it would mean that you were free to do certain things, or like what was your motive there, you think?
I have noticed that in my nature, dismantling the narrative has been like really natural to me. And part of it is like a freeing up. Like if I dismantle this, then I don't have to be held by the restrictions that it imposes on me. So
right.
I know that that's part of it, but it kind of like, I think it started with like dismantling just my parental presence because they were hypocritical. And and then now I see that like in our governing structures. And that's one reason I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist or a truther, because like dismantling that narrative frees me up as well. So now I'm not burdened by these illusions. But over time, I still keep finding truth in the scripture. And I had a kind of an encounter like 4 years ago, which brought me back onto the path like pretty solidly.
And do you want to share that encounter or no?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah, let's hear it, man.
Well, so 5 years ago or so, I was kind of at the depth of my experimenting, kind of like left-hand path experimentation. So I was into psychedelics, but I was also kind of like into tantra and kind of like playing more with darker energies of like sexuality and not being very discerning with the music that I was listening to. And basically it led, I was born February 17th. My son's mom was February 16th. And we traveled Peru and did 5 ayahuasca ceremonies in his first trimester. And that was my last long-term relationship before this woman came around that had all these archetypal similarities to her.
Oh, crazy.
And her birthday was March 10th. And my first girlfriend's was March 9th. My dog was March 8th. And so she was March 10th. All this weird stuff.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a karmic thing where I allowed this rampant like sensuality into my life, and the destructive force, like in the Old Testament, like the Babylonians or Assyrians, like came to knock out the Israelites. So I was getting knocked out because like I left my understanding of God that I had cultivated when I was younger, and like basically brought like idolatry into the temple of my heart. And I was getting into it in interesting ways, because like looking at the anyways, it destroyed my soul.
Yeah.
And we got married on 11/11/22, and the relationship was so horribly dysfunctional. And she tried to literally destroy me. She told me, if you ever leave me, I'll destroy you. Wow. And she tried to destroy me, like financially, like relationally, spiritually, like all of them.
Is this the mom of your son?
No, this
is a different girl. Okay.
Yeah.
The next one. Okay.
Yeah. And I was sleeping on my parents' floor, and I was having, after getting out of the relationship, and I was having sleep paralysis, which is kind of like a demonic attack, and I couldn't move, and I kept trying to shake out of it. And I was only, like it was holding my mouth. I couldn't speak, and like every time I'd slip in, I was being attacked by it.
Which is like a mental thing, truly, right? Even though your symptoms are physical.
It's mental, but it's not. Science hasn't figured it out, and it feels really spiritual.
Right.
It feels like evil, and like there's like this almost magnetic forces that hold you down and like hold your mouth shut and stuff like that. So it happened like 5 times where I slipped in and out of it. And I went to my mom and dad. I was like, hey, could you guys pray for me? I'm really struggling. And at this point, I'd gotten out of the relationship, but I was still like wrapped up in like cannabis and lust and stuff like that.
Right.
And they did like a really quick prayer. And then I went on Google and I was like, what do you do under a demonic attack? And they're like, well, demons can only enter if you allow them into your life through sin. So I was like, dude, I've been so sinful the last couple of years.
Right.
And I like repented hardcore. And in the morning, my cannabis and lust addiction was stripped from me like 100%.
Wow.
And even though I was like right out of this traumatizing relationship, I felt like joy and like this new script on life.
Yeah.
And I like went to church and I like cried a whole bunch. And because she had tried to destroy my reputation, it was kind of like not totally easy, like hanging out in all the circles that I'd been in before. So like spending time with Christians and like being really immersed in prayer and spending lots of time worshiping and having this foundation that was teaching like forgiving your enemies in contrast to like doing revenge was really awesome. And it reminded me of a lot of the roots that I had, brought Josh Garrels back to me and like
and you're like, oh, I got Josh Garrels back, but his new music's just not as good as it used to be.
Right, exactly. And I play in a worship band now. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, she writes all her own songs. It's at Glory City in Shell Beach. Okay. And I was also playing in kind of like a bigger church. And
what do you play? Just guitar or bass?
Bass and guitar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So yeah, I do like a lot of those songs. But
yeah. Do you play like for a congregation or just like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I played bass for a while in the church we were at.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I mean, real easy. Just kind of
yeah.
Nothing like that Les Claypool stuff you were pulling over there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. Do you know? I forgot to ask you this earlier. I'm cutting you off again, but Matt Freeman. Are you aware of Matt Freeman?
No.
Operation Ivy. He started in, and they became Rancid.
Oh, okay.
The punk band Rancid.
Yeah.
He's my favorite bass player of all time.
Oh, okay.
Les Claypool's up there, but that guy it's just amazing what he's doing in the background when you're listening to a Rancid song.
Wow.
He's just all over the place.
Nice.
So I listen to that and I go, man, I would love to be able to play like that.
That's
just
rad.
It sounds so cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, so that kind of so what's interesting to me about that, your story there, is that you've talked a lot about, weed, mushrooms, acid. You mentioned acid earlier, psychedelics that you do, and you talk about the kind of the benefits that you see, right?
Yeah.
And I've kind of already went here with you once, but you also, when you feel like kind of like this demonic oppression that's coming over you, and you he can only enter if you're being sinful, and your first thought was, oh, I've been sinning a lot, and you go to those drugs you're doing and things. So there's obviously a part of you that sees that as a bad thing. That's something maybe that God doesn't want you partaking in.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But it's kind of hard to decipher because I went through like such a serious repentance, and the plant medicines were taken away from me, but also went totally celibate for a couple of years. And so like one of the most destructive forces involved in that was the sexuality. And So I think that the plant medicines, they also have their dangers, especially because they kind of like make these portals in your field where it's like, oh, well, I can just go into shroom world whenever I want, or like I can always like govern my, you know, my neurons. And
like an escape in a sense.
Yeah, it can be an escape. And when you're dealing with something that's like so intense, like especially if you get into DMT or something, it's like, well, you can go into this other world that's like, you can compare it to picking up like a 2D picture like off a page and like putting them in 3D for a moment.
Yeah.
And then putting them back in the page. And it's more than your mind can even handle, so it becomes something that it's like, oh, I want to do that and I want to go there, and then you can only do it with that particular plant. So I think that it doesn't have the ability to be sustainable as much as like just a connection with God.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you feel like the kind of the sexual sin kind of stuff, does the psychedelics lend to that as well, or is that not connected for you?
It can. You just you need to like be discerning, because on one hand, you know, like you saw what LSD did with free love and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Orgy and everything, because like, it kind of lets down your guard and you become more sensual. But if you're, you know, respecting the plant medicines as these like ancient technology that our ancestors have been using in ceremony to purify the mind and the soul for millennia, then, you know, work with them like with respect and everything. You know what I mean? Okay.
And that goes kind of back to what we were saying before. Like, you do feel like God's given us these things for our benefit.
It would be really hard to think not to, because in my own experience, it's been highly beneficial. It's had some risks and some dangers, just like anything else, just like going to Six Flags or whatever.
Right.
But there's so much science coming out right now about it being beneficial as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So fast forward like 50 years from now, do you think that things like that are going to be more commonplace?
Absolutely. Okay. But the problem is the government's going to put their fingers in it, and they like just grew a strain of tobacco that had like 10 psychedelics in it, because they just like genetically manipulated it to be like a tobacco that you can like make tea or smoke, that has like LSD and DMT and 5-MeO DMT and like mescaline all in one thing, because science can do it now, which like takes us away from what the plants are meant to do, which is to bring us back into nature. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I have a feeling we're going to keep coming back to that, because I think that's an interesting. I've never really had this discussion before with the idea of Christianity and plant medicine, kind of thing. But when I want to get into like scripture for a little bit, just kind of your views on scripture in general. You had mentioned before, it sounds like you don't, in fact, you even said it's not, you don't think it's inerrant.
It's not, yeah.
Right. But you said also that you can find truth in scripture.
Yeah.
So you believe there's truth in there, but it's not inerrant.
Yeah.
So then how do you discern what's true and what's not? Like, how do you decide that?
One thing I'm referencing when I say it's not inerrant is like, there's like between Chronicles and Kings, they have like a drastically different numbers between like the horses and Solomon's army or something.
Right.
And by drastically, I mean like a couple digits. So it's like just from that, and like on one hand you can say like, oh, that's just a number and it only has to do with horses. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter that much, but just that shows like
you see it as a contradiction.
Technically speaking, the Bible is not inerrant.
Okay.
Because it contradicts itself like that.
But before we go further, I just want to address that real quick, because that's like similar to like the angels at the tomb, right? Where people say something like that. They say, well, that's a contradiction because Matthew's gospel says there was 2 angels and Mark says there was 1 angel. Right. But that's more of an omission as opposed to a contradiction, right?
Exactly.
So, and even with the horses in Chronicles and Kings, it's like, if the word only was there, that would make it a contradiction. Like if Matthew's gospel said there was only 1 angel at the tomb, but then Luke said there was 2 angels. Right. Whoa. If there was only 1, there can't be only 1 and also 2. But there can be 1 and there can be 2. Right. Yeah. That can both be true. That's consistent, right? Just because they weren't reported.
Yeah, that's kind of a good point.
Yeah. Just because that's something that people bring to me.
Because it could have been a census from like different times or something.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And then again, to your numbers thing, it's like, well, how important is that really?
Exactly.
That's the other issue of it. Like, well,
but
like, I really need to know how many horses there were in the army, you know?
And as you're reading it though, it's constantly like, especially through like the Old Testament, it's giving you all these numbers, and it's like, and then he slayed 20,000 here, and then like 6,000 fell there, and it's like, just by the fact that he's saying a rounded number, like killed 6,000, like lends to the fact that it's like probably not technically perfectly,
because that would have been very meticulous,
right? Exactly.
All right, we've killed 5,999. We got to get one more so we can write it down in an even number.
And can you imagine, like, they're talking about so many battles back then, and like talking about killing thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and it's like the bodies, like, so gnarly.
Yeah, it'd be just like, But even one guy, let's say you're a warrior in the army and you go to battle and you kill a bunch of people in one day. I could, if that was me, I could be sitting there at dinner that night and somebody say, "Hey, Ryan, how many did you kill today?" Yeah. I'm not even going to remember.
Exactly.
I don't know. I was just trying not to die, man. You know, that's all I was trying to do. Just trying not to die.
Right.
But anyway, so that's what you mean by inerrant. Or not being inerrant. I don't think it's
perfectly inerrant.
Okay.
So like a lot of the times when people get into the letter of the law, first of all, I don't see this like perfect objective application of the law from people who claim to keep the law the best. Meaning, like, you know, people like really knuckle down on something, but they're still eating pork when like the the Bible says homosexuality is bad. It also says pork is an abomination, and in Isaiah chapter 66 it's referring to the end times, God bringing judgment on the people who eat pork. So it's like, if you're holding so tight to the scriptures, then how come you still eating bacon? And little things like the 10 Commandments, where it's like, don't take the Lord's name in vain. It's like, well, what's the Lord's name, and what's the etymology of the words Lord and God? It's pretty fascinating if you haven't looked into that before. And so it's like all these like blatant ways that we have let go of some things, but if people want to cling to other things. Right.
So that would be more of the hypocrisy of man, right? That'd be like, it's just like today where someone professes to be a Christian and they go to church on Sundays or whatever, yet the rest of the week they're doing every manner of sin. And I'm not saying like, because we all sin, obviously. Right. But the kind of people that are doing so and there's no conviction, they don't feel guilty about it. There's, oh, God loves me anyway. Right. Yeah, sure. I just slept with 5 chicks and did heroin, but you know, it's no biggie, you know, or whatever, you know? Yeah. So yeah, it's similar to that, right? To where people that would say, well, I hold to the Bible, 100% hold to the Bible, yet it says don't eat pork and I still eat pork. But then I'm going to rant and rave about something else that it says. It seems hypocritical, right? Yeah. And
I want to mention, like, one of the things that really influenced me to dig the Bible is the near-death and out-of-body experiences. Then there's a lot of them on YouTube. And I just saw one. It was like, you know, like almost 2 hours long, and it was a guy who'd done like hundreds and hundreds of looks into those things, near-death experiences. Yeah. And
there's some crazy stuff in there.
People from all over the world, like even atheists and Hindus, will meet Jesus and sometimes go to heaven afterwards. But then also, oftentimes, there are Christians who think that they're Christians that end up going to hell too. Yeah. So
that's the gnarly one.
How it's still all in this Christian framework, even for these different cultures.
Yeah. Which would you say that lends to the credibility of Christianity?
Absolutely.
Right.
And there's still some questions in there. It's like a near-death experience still means that you're not completely dead. Right. So it's like, what if there are weird effects of the blood stops to the brain, the DMT flows in, you have this experience as long as you're on life support or in a coma. You're experiencing that you're going to be in hell forever or you're in heaven forever.
Well, bare minimum.
You actually die, but it's still like a very like technical. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, bare minimum, those kind of things to me prove the existence of the soul. Right, because there's a lot of kind of naturalists that would say, humanists that would say, oh, there's no such thing as the soul. We're all just physical creatures. It's all physical, all physical. But then there's these accounts of people whose soul literally leaves their body, and they're watching their body on the operating table or whatever, and they're able to recount to the doctors hours later everything they did.
Right.
It's like, how is that possible? Right. Oh, you pulled that blue knife with the blue handle out of the thing and you cut me right here. And then you did this. And then I floated into the next room and my mom was in there crying on her knees. And she prayed these exact words and recite the exact words.
Yeah.
There's no, I mean, to me, there's no other explanation for that.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the way I do kind of research and stuff. I look at like, how many explanations are there for that?
Right.
And then I kind of go process of elimination, right? And I literally cannot think of any other. I cannot think of a humanistic explanation for that. They say, "Oh, it's just all your brain firing." No, how can that? But you're in your body still, and you're seeing these things in the other room,
right?
Through your brain. How?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah,
like, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
So yeah. Okay. So again though, like I guess I'm kind of wondering, like as you read scripture, do you read scripture?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you're doing so, like what is your litmus? You read something and you say, okay, I don't know, is that true? Is that not true? I don't know. Oh, and I say this only because you kind of hold the view that maybe it's not all true, right? So
I hold it to be like 95%. I hold it to be like 100% true.
Okay.
But the little bit when I say it's not inerrant, it just gives it this all around like flexibility that just breaks out of the rigidness of like some hypocritical and legalistic systems.
Sure.
So me saying it's inerrant, I'm not even like say the numbers are the only thing, even though there's a couple other things.
Yeah.
I still think that I read it like it's true.
Okay.
I read it like it's true.
So when you read it every day, you don't sit there and you go, well, I don't know about that one.
Well, I was just working through the Old Testament and I read like the Torah and Joshua's and Judges and Samuel.
Yeah.
And it was putting me in kind of a funk, like I'm sorry to say, but there was so much like killing.
Yeah.
And then I looked it up and they're like killing is in the Bible like 1,200 times and in the Old Testament, and then like healing is mentioned like 80 times or something like that. Right. And it was just kind of heavy for me. It's like if I was going to translate divinity to humans from a divine source, would I start out like right fresh from the mountain, from Mount Sinai? It's like, here's the 10 Commandments, and the next thing is how to handle your slaves and like how to sell slaves and stuff.
But you just hit on it though, because it's like, the question you just asked of yourself was, would I do it this way? Right. And I think that says a lot, because I think a big part of it, that when we read parts of the Old Testament, it's almost repulsive to us. Yeah, but it is a big part of that because of who we are as a people now and as a society now. Like, as in to ask the question, you say, oh, there's so much killing. And I would say, well, was that bad? Right. And most people are like, well, of course it's bad. What do you mean? Well, how can it not be bad? And I was like, well, maybe it's not.
Well, if you look at us, like to God, you know, he's so far behind us that it'd almost be like us looking at, like, say we had a scab on our knee that got infected. Yeah. And there was like a green part to it. And you use like Neosporin or hydrogen peroxide to like get off the infection. Right. That's partially like how God was functioning in the Old Testament when he was just slaying some people. Yeah. Like, this is an infection. I'm just going to wipe this out. Yeah.
Even if that infection is like 10,000 people.
Right.
Right.
Because that would be like 10,000. You like wipe off that. Right. Like a zit or something. Yeah. You know?
As crazy and horrendous as that sounds. Yeah. It's true. Right. Yeah. Like the one everybody likes to quote to me is the one where it says that they went in and God sent them in and they killed all the women, children, and everybody just wiped out this whole area. And like, oh my God, how can you believe in a God like that? Right. You know, and it's like, well, you need to understand, those people were a cancer to the Israelites, right? Like they were leading them into worship of false gods and all this kind of stuff. And again, usually the response is, yeah, but that's no reason to and my response is always like, well, that's because of where we are now. I said, I can agree with you. It's horrendous to me too. But I think the reason it is just because of the way I was raised, the country I grew up in, all these elements that go into making me who I am. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm very pacifistic. I mean, I'm like, I can't even watch UFC, dude.
Right.
UFC makes me sick.
Right.
And most of the guy friends I have are like, oh yeah, I love UFC. It's great. I love watching the guys pound the tar. And especially when it gets into the women UFC, I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I can't even be in the same room as this. This is like, it's sickening to me.
Yeah, for sure.
But there was a time where that was just, I mean, even when my dad was a kid, like they used to fight all the time. This is what they did. They fought. They got in a disagreement. They fought. On the playground, they fought. Outside the school, they fought. Whatever. Now, even when I was in school, I would see fights. It would make me sick.
Right.
Right? But it wasn't always that way. So I guess it's hard to discern what's truly right and truly wrong if we don't, I don't know, if we're starting from a standpoint of kind of already thinking what that is, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So that's why when we read things from thousands of years ago that God did or said or these kind of, it seems like, whoa,
right.
That doesn't fit in with today's society and the way that we do things. It's like, well, you're right, it doesn't.
Right.
But does that necessarily mean it's wrong just because it doesn't fit in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that, I mean, obviously, you said you as you read the Bible, you think it's true as you read it. But do you believe that like Jesus is the only way of salvation?
Because of the near-death experiences I've studied, I think that he is, but it can be in a way that like people might not necessarily know him in this realm, but things will be like translated and weighed to a point where they'll still make it into heaven through Jesus, even if they didn't know him as the way here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that could fit, right? Like if he says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but through me."
Right.
But you're saying that could happen, not necessarily after death, but even during a near-death experience, right? Or when you're on your way to dying, even maybe.
Right.
Because for all we know, you could be having a near-death experience that's going to lead you to die. We just don't hear about those because they don't wake up and tell us about it, right? Because they died on the table. But for all we know, maybe that happens to everybody that's when they're dying. You're leaving your body and you're looking down, oh, there's my body. And then you're gone, right? But then some people get to go back into their bodies and say, hey, you're not going to believe what I just saw. Yeah. You know, so you're saying that Jesus could even meet them in those places. But I guess the question then would be, why? Let's take near-death experience. Let's take that little tunnel, let's call it, in between life and death. Like you're on your way from life into death. But do you think that Jesus is going to appear there for everybody? In other words, everybody's going to be in heaven? Or do you think there's some that are not going to be in heaven? Like is there a chance to reject Christ for everybody and then they're going to be in hell? Like, what do you think about that?
Well, judging by the near-death experiences, people do go to hell too, and oftentimes it's too late for them. Okay, and then they realize that they're there for eternity, and it's like the most foreboding and like terrible.
But then they come back and tell you about it, right?
But then they come back and tell you.
Okay, so they're not there for eternity, right? In that case, anyway.
And sometimes I think it's like they're given a message to bring this back. That's like and once the concept of once saved, always saved is like one thing that they come back and they're like, dude, no, I was going to church every Sunday and I went to hell because I was doing this, that, or the other thing. Yeah.
But were they saved to begin with? Would be my question. Right.
Right.
Just because you're going to church doesn't mean you're saved. You know? So, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's 2 near-death experiences on YouTube that are from pastors.
Oh, okay.
Who went to hell. Interesting. Even though they're pastoring congregations, and one went because of unforgiveness, and I think the other one mentioned unforgiveness, but he was also in a hotel with a prostitute and drugs when he passed away.
When he died?
Yeah.
Oh shoot!
Even though he was a pastor.
Yeah. So well, see, again, right? Just because you're a pastor, just because you read your Bible, you go to church, all these are great things, but they're not proof of salvation. Right. Right. I mean,
yeah, but it's interesting how far you can get.
Oh, for sure, man. Safe. Yeah.
If you just like learn the lingo and can play the role. Yeah. Yeah.
Me and my friend used to joke, and this is kind of a sick thing to joke about, but we used to joke because when we first started studying, like you mentioned, studying words and languages and stuff. So me and my buddy started studying Greek for the New Testament and that kind of thing, and really kind of learning certain things that are taught pretty commonly in today's Christian church that are false.
Right.
Because it's not what the Greek says, right? And they're taking an English translation and doing whatever. Oh, here's what this says. And they're totally off. Mm-hmm. I mean, my friend used to joke and say, you know what, dude? If we were dirty scumbags, we could make millions of dollars being like just teaching and twisting and making people believe certain things in script. Because we look at some of these false teachers that are billionaires.
Right.
And we're listening to what they're saying. We're like, dude, that is so not what the Bible says. Yeah. But you have all these people that are, oh, it's so wonderful. Mm-hmm. Here's more money. Here's more money. Yeah. And you guys are flying around private jets. They got, a 11-room mansion. And it's like, what is happening, right? Yep. So we're like, and my friend's like, but we couldn't do that because we'd be so convicted. Even if we tried, we'd be so guilty. We'd be broken over it. We'd be weeping to the Lord. Oh, Lord, I'm so sorry I even had these thoughts. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that's the difference. Mm-hmm. That's the difference between someone who's saved and who's not saved. It's not right. You go to church, you read your Bible, you're a pastor. It's like, is the Lord in your life? Mm-hmm. Like, is he working in your life and in your heart and in your mind? And like, he's molding and shaping you and changing you, mm-hmm. To the point that it's never going to be where you're like, oh, I don't sin anymore. Mm-hmm. I have arrived. I've become to a place in my Christianity where I just don't sin anymore. That's never going to happen. Right. But when you do, right, there's conviction, right? It's like, oof, to where before I was saved, there were certain things I would do like, whatever. Mm-hmm. God loves me. Right. God gave me these desires and these urges. Why, mm-hmm. Kind of thing. So. Right. Exactly. Yeah. But there's another tangent. There's another Ryan tangent there. But like when you talk to people, let's say that are non-believers, or even maybe people in your own life that are professing Christians, but you can see from like their life that maybe they're not really, right? Like their lifestyle doesn't reflect that. Mm-hmm. Do you ever talk to people like that and try to convince them of anything, or do you just kind of let it go?
I can be pretty loose with my language at times, but as I mentioned earlier, I typically like when I go to church, I don't bring up things that can cause division. I'm like, I realize that I'm there to like fit in with everybody to get the benefit of community. So I'm not going to come to a community to get the benefit of community and then bring up things that will divide a community.
Gotcha.
But I do bring up my truth pretty blatantly. Yeah. Yeah.
Like with people, or like family members, friends? Yeah. More closer people?
Yeah. Okay. Like I'm the kind of guy that would talk about this kind of stuff like at a party. Okay.
Do people not like you because of that?
Probably some people. Yeah.
You're like, I started getting way less invites to these parties. I don't know what's happening. So, okay.
But I don't thrive off of parties that much. Yeah. So it's not that big a deal.
Yeah. I don't either, unless it's like people I really like to be around. Right. I have my core people who I like, I enjoy being in the presence of, mm-hmm. and that's who I try to surround myself with. Exactly. Yeah. But then by the same token, I do this, mm-hmm. Which is often involves meeting somebody for the first time, and not just meeting you at a party like, hey, how's it going? I'll see you later. Yeah. No, sit down across from me and let's talk about really deep, personal things. Let's do that on our first meeting, Yeah. It's like first dates don't even turn out like that with people. No. You meet somebody on, whatever, Tinder or whatever, you go on a date.
Go a couple of years without
right? Yeah. Stuff, yeah. I didn't know you never wanted kids. How come you never told me that? Things like that. But yeah. Cool, man. All right. Well, we can cut it.
All right.
Unless you got something more.
Just praise Yah. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Soli Deo Gloria.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm in.
That's cool, man. Thanks. I appreciate you coming over, dude. And I'm going to thank Mike. I'm going to call him right now and say, dude, that was a good one.
Sweet.
That was very interesting. You did things and said things I've never heard anybody do on here before. So props for being unique, dude.
Thank you so much.
So, all right, man. Cool. Thanks again for checking out this episode. Please tell all of your friends how awesome it was. If you know anyone who would be a fun person to talk to on this podcast, please reach out to me at whycan'twetalkaboutthat@proton.me. Thanks.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Excuse me.
Yeah, we've been going.
There was no like Capcom. We're starting now. Like, are you ready? Here we go.
I like to have those questions on the episode too. That way people can hear where we're going to. So
okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
That was kind of the start of it right there. So
okay.
Yeah. Do you have any other directions you want to go here with the spirituality?
Sure, some of my instruments.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. Play some tunes for me.
It's because the inhale is on the snare.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Wow, man.
And so everybody played recorders in elementary school.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I actually invented this, so like I can take credit for this. It's not something I saw.
You invented a recorder?
Well, I invented wrapping tape around the recorder.
Okay.
So on my left hand, I've got tape covering the first 3 holes. And on my right hand, I have tape covering the last 2 holes.
Okay.
So that when I blow on both of them with all my fingers down, it creates a drone.
Huh.
And from there, you can do kind of like a...
Nice, dude. That's really cool. Was that? It sounded like almost like Old Lang Syne there in the beginning when you were doing the.
I forgot what that said.
Yeah, the beginning song you were doing. That's kind of cool, man. So back to those though. But you cover certain notes on one, and then the opposite on the other.
Yeah.
So you still have all the holes just on 2 different instruments.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And, yeah.
Nice, man.
They're gimmicky but awesome.
Yeah. Nice, dude. That's really cool.
Thank you, sir.
Did you ever like Jethro Tull?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
He's the only flautist I know, so.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got some pretty good.
Yeah, that was kind of a neat thing that no one else really did, adding a flute to classic rock,
They're solid.
Yeah, okay. What was the other one? You started playing another one.
So this is these are some of the first pan pipes that I got.
Okay.
And these ones are in pentatonic.
So is there a reason why you call them pan pipes and not pan flutes?
No.
It's the same thing, it's interchangeable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And these are kind of like the Romanian design, like similar to how Pan would have played them. And zamponias is the traditional term for like panpipes from South America.
Okay.
And I didn't happen to bring any of those with me this time.
Okay.
But they have like a softer, woodier.
Yeah.
But these are stronger.
Okay.
And they're in, so I can stick them in my panpipe holder.
Oh, gotcha. What's all that in there that's like, is that like glue?
So these, I like dropped these and broke these.
Oh, okay.
I bought them through Craigslist in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So I fixed them and embossed them in resin and collected these stones from Montana d'Oro and put the stones in there. So basically they just became like really mystical.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's aesthetic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also structural.
Right. They don't change the way the instrument sounds at all.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, these ones.
Very cool, man. So could you, again, every time you do this, I keep thinking, how are you breathing? Could you potentially do that for hours?
Mm-hmm.
So you're breathing just fine while you're doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. I keep waiting for you to go, or something, like you just sound like you'd be out of breath.
Nope.
Because you're just beatboxing nonstop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you've learned how to breathe in and out as
The
you're doing it.
inhales with the snare. So like,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. See, that's a decent beatbox, even with you could probably just do that. You just need a rapper, dude.
yeah.
You could travel around with a rapper.
Too.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You have that in some of your music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have it.
I'm gonna have to do a deep dive on your music now. Where can I find it on? If I don't do Spotify, okay.
Yeah.
Stream. I don't have streaming platforms.
Any like music.
Like, give me examples, because I don't do Spotify.
YouTube music.
Oh, I can go on YouTube.
Yeah.
Listen to them on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, I want to play my charonga.
Let's hear it.
That was my charonga.
What does that mean? Oh, like yoga breathing and stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if you try breathing with it and you like breathe deep enough for long enough, it feels like you're floating, your body's buzzing, and it does all these incredible physiological things for you. Like
that's not because you're depriving your brain of oxygen.
It boosts your like immune system and your red blood cells by some like insane amount.
Okay.
So kind of lead breathworks
Yeah.
Exhale. Exhale.
Mm. Nice. That's cool, man. That's really fun. That's really fun, dude. I can't even imagine how much fun you must have with that.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the creation is like limitless.
Yeah.
You know, when you add all that kind of stuff in there. So.
Yeah. You can just keep going because like every body part's doing something.
Right.
And then you bring in like singing too, and then you're just like, it's like you're driving a spaceship.
Yeah.
Just like, let's go.
That's really cool.